and I'm almost as big as a space marine.
Oh damn.
So strong dog, strong guy, leash snap. I tried to run after her, but I'm a little out of shape. Took a while. I tried to yell at her to head back my way. She didn't listen to me. She tried to chase the cars, and unfortunately, an SUV.
Oh, she didn't get hit, did she?
She did. That's why I had the heart attack.
Jesus Christ! I'm sure you took her to the vet then, right? Is everything looking okay?
We both. She got lucky that day. She walked from after she got hit. She ran away. She ran into. Luckily for me, she ran near my mom's place, and me and the people that were in the car found her, and we looked her over. She just got a cut on her leg.
Okay, but it doesn't seem like anything's broken, anything like that.
She was shook up from the incident too. She was scared for a day and a half.
Oh yeah, I bet, dude. I bet that was like kind of a fucking traumatic experience. I mean, like getting run over is pretty fucking scary, right? So.
Yeah, and I've been watching over her ever since. The worst, by the looks of it, the only worst of it was just the bad cut on the leg, and I even had a second opinion from someone with a little bit more medical experience, and even they're saying that she's okay. Just want to look. Just told me to look over her behavior for the upcoming week, and that's what I've been doing.
I'm sorry. Say the last part one more time. I'm just trying to get everything set up, but also like, yeah, I'm still trying to listen. Yeah, what was the last part?
Well, I was told to keep an eye on her for a week. And strangely enough, the drivers of the car were understandable with the situations, and I ended up making friends with them.
Oh, well, that's good. And it's also good, like, I mean, I could see a lot of people getting super angry at whoever, like, ran over their dog, even if it's not exactly justified. So it's cool that you were understanding. Like, accidents happen. It was a mistake, or not a mistake on anybody's part, right? The leash fucking broke and she just got away from you. So, like, yeah, it was unfortunate, but, like, it's not exactly their fault or your fault. It was just, happenstance.
Yeah, and honestly, considering that you walked away from the hit and considering how loud the hit was, I was thinking the car was more damaged than my dog was. And I thought they were going to snap at me.
No, I'm glad, especially after, like, you were worried that, oh, shit, the stream's private. Fuck me. Hold on. There we go. I'm almost there. Yeah, no, if I were in their shoes, I would be a lot more worried about the dog being okay than my fucking car.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, I ended up making... Well, they were really forgiving, and they apparently they were one of the passengers of the car was a dog owner as well. Dog carried German Shepherds too.
Okay, so yeah, it seems like they're like the perfect person to have that happen to, because obviously they're gonna understand, right?
Yeah, that just led to all four of us wishing we met under better circumstances.
Very true.
My dog and them.
Very, very fair. Yeah.
Well, I just got through looking at her before I checked the Discord and stuff, and she's in a good mood, and she's eating her dinner right now.
Okay, well, good.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. Sorry, one more second. I think I have everything set up.
Okay, how are you?
Yeah, no, okay, yes, everything's set up. We are live. And by the way, you seem pretty cool, but I don't know you. Just, if you say anything that breaks TOS, I'm gonna have to boot you. Okay, so
don't worry. I understand TOS. I'm just gonna keep it. I'm just gonna keep it on a level of 1970s network television.
Okay, gotcha. Sweet. I appreciate the fuck out of that. Sorry, one sec. I'm a vapor, but I think it's tacky to do it on what?
Can you say? Does TOS allow you to say the F-bomb?
Oh no, I think no. I cuss all the fucking time. So go ahead and just average cuss words are fine.
All right, I never use anything stronger than shit.
Yeah, that works for me. Sorry, I have a bad habit when it comes to nicotine, but I don't like doing it on stream because I think it looks tacky as fuck. But anyways, yeah, I think we are live and going. Oh, right. You asked me how I'm doing. So I'm doing okay. I finally got a good night's rest last night, which is great because we're having this debate. So I'm fresh and ready for it. But I've been struggling to fucking sleep. And dude, yesterday I made the biggest fucking mistake. So I jog a lot. I fucking love jogging. But recently where I live, it snowed quite a fucking bit. And it's been really cold outside. But I was like, dude, fuck it. I can't wait till winter's over to start up jogging again, right? I just gotta go fucking do it.
I think I heard this. I think you made it on TV where I live.
No. I didn't make it on TV or anything. No, I didn't get into anything like that. There was no super bad accident or anything like that. If that's what
I mean, you were the guy that was jogging in the middle of winter in jogging gear.
Oh no, well, and there's that too. I don't have jogging gear or anything like that. I don't I was in a fucking jacket in 3 different layers. So different guy.
Around my town, there was this guy jogging during the right as the winter storm was about to get real ugly. He had nothing on but his track shorts and just and some trainers, running shoes. Just jogged in that weather.
Why would anybody do that? Oh my! He was asking to get fucking hypothermia, dude.
He made the news.
Nice.
He made the morning news.
But no, that was not me. But I almost got myself in a really bad situation. So I went out. I got used to jogging at night because I used to work night shifts at a factory, and it's really not that bad, jogging at night. But this time around, I was jogging in the night in the middle of fucking winter, right? Snow is fucking everywhere. It's freezing out. So I get about halfway through, and my phone, the battery, dude, just fucking died because of how cold it was. The cold completely drained my battery. So my only flashlight just went out. And my only way to contact anybody if something bad happened is gone. So I wasn't too worried about it at first. I was like, oh, it's okay. It's bright enough for me to find my way back. But then I started thinking my car has a lot of trouble when it comes to the battery dying in winter. What if I get back and it doesn't fucking start? I'm a few miles away from the nearest fucking store, or I'm a couple miles out from civilization. Dude, if my car hadn't started, I might have been fucked. I might have been absolutely fucked.
Was that a Hyundai?
Huh?
Was it a Hyundai?
No, it's not a Honda. I don't want to say too much about personal information wise. I'm still not sure how much of myself I want to put out there on the internet, or probably in the future eventually I will. But I want to be kind of careful. I'm not going to say what type of car or anything like that. But
Okay, understandable.
But yeah, it definitely has a problem when it comes to winter and it not starting. So I was a little fucking worried, but I kept telling myself, dude, you've started up 4 times since the cold snap came. It's been fine. It'll be fine. You'll get back to your fucking car and you'll be able to start it and you'll be able to go home. It's cool. But no, I gave myself a bit of a panic attack from just straight up being a fucking idiot. But so yeah, yesterday wasn't the greatest, but hey, I got my jogging, so I guess there's that.
Hey, relax. If I had a nickel for every time I acted like an idiot, I'd be able to pay off for America's national debt.
Yeah, I feel like that's it's so easy to sit there shitting on yourself after you do something stupid, but you just gotta. Well, it depends on how stupid it is and how much foresight you could have had when it comes to what probably would have happened. But typically it's good to give yourself a break, especially if you're lacking information that turned out to be important, right? So yeah, we all make mistakes. We all do stupid shit, it's what it is. But yeah, anyways, are you ready to start talking about representation of media?
Sure.
Oh, and by the way, so you can call me Cleary. Can I call you Golden? Is that, or Gold?
Yeah, you can call me Zeo. You can call me zeogold.
I'll call you Zeo. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand your position. So, essentially, it seems like you think that adding woke ideas into movies, TV shows, books, whatever, automatically it just kind of toes bad writing along with it. Is that more or less where you stand?
Well, here's the thing. The thing is, the people who go for who adhere to what they call woke have an inability, lack the ability to produce good writing, because woke focuses only on the these most superficial things that no person has control in being. And they don't, and the people that aspire and such, the people that aspire to woke don't look past those superficial things, which leads to bad writing.
Okay, so I disagree, but I want to start with what you said about those superficial things. So let's say we live in a world. Let's just assume for a second we live in this world where if you're born as a certain thing, yeah, you have the certain trait, characteristic, or whatever. It makes it a lot harder for you to navigate the world properly, or maybe it blocks off certain opportunities, or for this a very simple reason of like. You've just been told your entire life that this thing is not possible, so yeah, you should never even try. Like, if we lived in that sort of world, would you maybe disagree with that, with your like first statement?
Well, given the scenario you've given me, and considering the fact that I am a human being, my first thought would be to defy what that very statement, by any means possible, in spite of my own limitations, and just and if possible, teach others to do this, to be just as defiant, regardless of their gender, skin color, or anything else like that. I would tell them and others, as many people as I can, to be defiant against anyone that tells them that kind of thing.
Okay, here, I'm going to stop you there. I want to respond to that in a second. I think we're onto something. We're on the right track here. I just want to check the stream just to make sure the audio's lining up. I just want to check the stream just to make sure the audio's lining up.
Them and others, as many people.
Okay, here, I'm going to
tells them that kind of thing.
Okay, here, I'm going to stop you there. Okay, yeah, we're good. Sorry, I basically just don't live stream, so I just want to make sure everything's working. Okay, so
for when it with that.
Oh, well, here, so real quick. When it comes to women, things have changed a lot in the past couple decades, but for the majority of them, like straight out of the womb, they were told like you can pretty much only be like a housewife or something along those lines. Or I mean, if you want to go the pathetic route, like maybe a crazy cat lady or something like that. But typically, whenever they saw a woman in like movies, TV shows, and stuff, she's basically like the caregiver, right? Whereas the man in their life would be the provider. Would you agree with that? That a lot of the times in older media, that's how women were like represented.
Yeah. Up until 1958, but there's something you got to take note of around that time. By the time the 60s were rolling around, there have been individual opportunities in and out of what we consider the women's liberation movement and feminist movements. And there was no, and don't get me wrong, I do not have any problem with those movements to allow women to be the same opportunities as men. Because in spite of what the MGTOWs and incels say, women are created equal. They are fellow human beings and have the same inalienable rights as we all do.
Okay. Yeah, so I would agree with that statement for the most part. There are, slight differences between the sexes, right? Like when it comes to strength and stuff like that. And obviously men can't have babies. But like for the most part, other than that, like those few differences, women should be more or less capable of doing anything a man can do in society. So
we agree on that.
Yeah, okay. And by the way, don't worry about like walking on eggshells with me or anything. I'm not going to jump down your throat if you're like against feminism or any of that bullshit. So for a long time, like I would say even like early 2000s, even like it was still like pretty present, like early 2000s or so. Typically, that's what women were told, or that like to go into like the scientific like fields, like STEM fields and stuff like that. It's just like that's not really a feminine thing to do. That's like or like coding. I think it's still an issue with coding.
I got an interesting story about that one.
But well, real quick though. So. If you're told that like you are a female and females don't really do this stuff, which women have been told, and not just like it didn't just stop back in the 1950s. It was pretty pervasive up till like I would say I would say early 2000s, maybe 2010s is when things started to really shift. But if you're
I'd
told
say
that,
around 2008.
well, yeah, somewhere around
Well,
there.
let's not go into semantics here right now. You were saying?
But if you're told that, for your entire life, that like women don't do STEM, women don't do coding or any like scientific things. Really, that's not a feminine things to do. If you're told that by like pretty much everyone in society, then like of course you're not going to go into those fields, right? I wouldn't say
Well,
that's a weakness. It's just like we all do that to an extent, right? We were all raised in a world that essentially drilled certain assumptions into our minds that aren't necessarily true, but we treat like they're true, right?
well, for some, keyword some, but you got to remember, human beings, regardless of the gender or anything else, have this tendency to them to defy preconceptions and in any ex in any expectations that are put on them, either by society, family, loved ones, whoever. Because there's something in us, male or female, that in one way or another will just spring out and just defy any
So
that just has that little defiance to them
I
to make them
completely
want to.
disagree. I completely 100% disagree. Most people, for the most part, most people conform to society hardcore. Like for instance, you don't go out like fucking like you don't walk the street nude or even in like weird ass clothes, right? Like, like when's the
Oh
last
no,
time?
not that kind of defiance. I'm talking about showing others that
Well,
they can do this. They can succeed in certain. They can succeed regardless what others may think or expect of them.
no, that's very true. It's possible, but the thing is, if you're telling like women for like decades that they're not able to do these sorts of things, you're only going to get maybe like a handful of them that actually try, right? Because
Exactly.
well, yeah, no, but that's the problem. That's the problem because these fields like should be accessible to like everybody. But there was this weird societal like limitation to how many women actually like went into those fields because that expectation of like femininity. I can't say it or like what it is to be a
Hold
woman.
up. I think I see where you're coming from, but the thing is, even though that was hammered, that was hammered into them by society and for some reason or another. And I'm not, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to ignore all those those chauvinistic types that ended up that those few chauvinistic types that got into those selected positions. But there was always an but come but by the time of the
Oh, by the way, keep talking. I'm gonna do the vape thing real quick. I'm listening though.
all right, by the time I say 1974, there were more women were given more opportunities to be to shine, and were and all those people that saying that you can't do this because you are a woman grew weaker in influence and smaller in number to when by the time the late 80s came along, you can see more women choosing, keyword choosing of their own volition to take on jobs that you normally don't see that many take on. And frankly, that is commendable. And I commend all the women around that time and up until this present day that choose to do what they seek to do, no matter the field of work or anything else they seek to do. And I am always glad for them to choose to do so because it is something that is happening naturally.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it is happening naturally. I think, well, in the 1970s, I fact checked it. It seems like you're right. There was an increase in how many women were going to the STEM fields, but the 1970s, that was also a very progressive time, wouldn't you say? Like when it came to just like being more open minded about those sorts of things. That was the hippie era, right? So it
Yeah,
would make.
but as since we're talking on that subject, there was a difference in that kind of progressivism and the progressivism we're dealing in the here and now. The progressivism of the hippies was a necessary one. It followed and it was founded on it was rooted in the foundations of what we call classical liberalism, which focused on the the individual and and the merits of the individual and that individual's willingness to accept personal responsibility for their act for all their choices, good, bad, and the ugly.
Well, I wouldn't say in like the 1960s, 70s, we were focusing. I mean, there was still a bunch of stuff when it came to like race and yeah, once again, women just not being solely like housewives, right? Like it was still a very like there were a lot of collective things being talked about there. But you still seem to agree overall with that movement, but not how we do it nowadays.
Because there was a certain because they strayed from the path into something that is more forceful, authoritarian, and against the choices of the individual.
Okay, Lear, let's talk about that. That's perfect. Okay, so what is authoritarian about like let's say we'll bring back Star Wars again. And by the way, I said this in the video. It could very well have been written poorly. That wasn't my argument. It was more about attacking the bad writing instead of the ideas because anything can be written well. But let's talk about that. So when it comes to Star Wars, like first off, I wouldn't say it's like how would you say it's authoritarian? Like that they were like forcing it down people's throats exactly, like well, or like women representation, representing them more in the media.
Okay, I'm guessing you never saw the original trilogy.
Oh no, I did.
Well,
it's been a while.
There's a reason why characters in the original, the women characters such as Leia, is beloved among multiple generations of Star Wars fans, while Rey is pretty much treated like a mouthful of lemon juice.
Right, I've heard a lot of things about her being somewhat of a Mary Sue, but I've also heard things about. I mean, there were certain times where she did fuck up and needed to be saved and all that, right? Isn't that true?
Going by the sequel trilogy, they treated her with kid gloves compared to the other characters that came before her in other trilogies. For instance, Padme Amidala, if you look at the movies that featured her, as well as the prequel TV series that she was in, she was put through the gauntlet, and this is before she got real intimate with Anakin. She had a target on her back around the time they were making clones of Jango Fett. She was pretty much seen as enemies amongst most of the separatist planets. Not to mention what kind of nasty schemes Palpatine had plans for her if she did survive giving birth.
Okay, wait, so to really quick, like sum up what you're trying to say, like you would consider her to be like a well-written, like strong female character, yeah?
Exactly.
So
the same could be said of her daughter.
Yeah, so if Rey had been written more along those lines, would you have a problem with the ideas being expressed?
No.
No.
No. The same can be said about the vast majority of Star Wars fans. The way they portrayed Rey is just unrelatable to anyone, male or female. She faces no real challenges. Everything came easy for her. She is capable of. She has a skill set. She attained abilities that easier than other Force users have.
Oh, and just by the way, real quick, I know people kind of skew how bad this movie is, like when it comes to the reception. It's not great. Looking at Rotten Tomatoes, though, it seems like it got a 3 out of 5 stars. It's not a disaster, but like I don't know.
It's alienating.
Okay, but okay, so to bring it back once again, you would say you don't have a problem with like when we were talking.
I don't have a problem with women characters or characters that are different skin colors than me. I definitely don't have a problem with a character in any form of entertainment that has a different sexual orientation than me. Those things don't really matter to a lot of us geeks and nerds. We never cared about such things.
Okay, so I just want to make this clear because it sounds like we're almost in agreement at the moment. But when we were talking in my comment section, it seemed like you thought that like pretty much every time woke ideas are introduced into movies, it's just bad writing. It's just every time. Is that
All right. Maybe I'm guessing I'm gonna put. It's probably my fault because expressing my thoughts proper, explicit, clear, and explicit verbally tends to be one of my weak suits connected to my disability.
Oh, okay,
But,
that's yeah.
but let me try to clear it up. The thing is, these modern day writers, they adhere to an ideology that is that they themselves call woke. They call it that, not me.
Well, I just to be clear, by the way, I would say that more conservative leaning people have definitely a different view of woke from like liberals. I think of woke as kind of a silly term, but like overall, I would rather just say like liberal ideas. Like you have a collection of liberal ideas, and that's
what.
woke.
I'm not a conservative.
Oh no. Well, I said leaning more conservative. Wait, we can get into that in a sec. We can get into that. Yeah, in a sec. Keep going with like your problems with woke stuff in media. Yeah, keep going.
Well, these people are ideologues first, and writers. I don't even think in the top 10. Have you seen if you saw the kind of stuff they're producing, they've been producing since for the better part of 10 years. Oh boy.
Well, so I would agree. I think we've all seen like really cringy woke movies. It's like, there's definitely a problem when it comes to bad writing. I wouldn't say it's like necessarily baked into woke ideology or anything like that. But like we've all seen like one or two movies where it's like, okay, we get it, dude. That character's super gay and it's super cool. Okay, you don't gotta like shove it straight down our fucking throats. But there are definitely examples of like stuff like this being written in well. So I would say once again, the first The Last of Us. You know, that zombie game with the fucking like fungus infection or whatever.
I remember, and let me tell you, I never saw a game more capable of making me. I haven't felt that sad when looking at gameplay footage since that one scene in Gears of War 3 where Dom sacrificed himself. Oh,
I actually think I vaguely remember what you're talking about. I used to watch my older brother play Gears of War 3. But anyways, okay, so for The Last of Us, there's that character Bill. Yeah, you remember him, right?
He was the man that was guarding Ellie.
No, so that was oh my god, what's fuck?
Man, we both forgot the guy's name.
Yeah, no, you're talking about the guy you play as, right? That's not the guy I'm talking about.
Oh.
Fuck, main character The Last. Oh god, I can't type, Jesus. All right, Joel, fucking, it's Joel. That's the main character. So no, Bill's like his old friend, right? He goes into the this fucking town or whatever to like try to meet up with him, get some help from him or whatever. So if you find all the notes about Bill, it's like not super heavily implied, but it's implied that his partner, is like the dude he was like, you know, fucking surviving with. It was implied that they had like a sexual relationship, that they were gay. Thing is though, it was only ever implied. It didn't become like this all-encompassing like part of the character Bill was. I think that's a perfect example of like woke ideas being written well.
But the thing is, exactly, but here's the thing. Writers today, their whole ideology is about making something like their relationship not only just tell you about it over and over again every step of the way of the series that they're writing, but force everything about it down the throats of anyone viewing it.
And by the way, when you say nowadays, like what time span are you talking about exactly? Like
I would have to say around late 2013 to around here and now this year.
Okay. Here, what do you think about the first Avatar movie? This would have been before that time.
The Last Airbender or the
Blue Men, the blue people.
Oh, I never had an opportunity to see the whole movie, but from what I've seen, it's not exactly the best thing I've seen from Cameron, but I can see why it got so much hype as it did. The Na'vi are an amazing race.
And would you have any problem with, or did you have any problem, just from hearing about it in passing or whatever, with any ideas they might have been pushing, or like stories that related to real life they were trying to tell?
Mm, I kind of wondering. Well, I just felt a little questioning what the whole now that his human body's dead, how he's doing that in a fake Navi body, and
Okay.
how long that Navi body's gonna how long is that Navi body's gonna stay stable.
Okay, so it's more just like a realisticness of it. Okay, so
I'm
that
just wondering how much time he's got until that body of his conks out.
yeah, so well, that whole movie was essentially just one big analogy for what like us like friggin' Englishmen did to the Native Americans in America. That was essentially the entire premise. It's like the alien version of that.
Who you calling an Englishman?
Wait, what?
I'm a minority.
Or sorry, like when I say us Englishmen, I'm white boys like me.
Hold
all
up,
right,
hold
yeah.
up. I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay, whoa, what did I say?
Hold up. Let me just get this off your. I want to clear your conscience here, even though I'm not a minister or a priest of any kind.
By the way, I don't have like the weird ass white guilt or anything. If that's where you're going with this.
Look, the thing is, what those people did in the colonial era, their actions have been done. They've answered for their sins.
Well, I would disagree with that hard, but anyway, sorry, keep going.
Hold up. They have, in one way or the other, they have answered for their crimes. Maybe not in the time in their flesh and blood, but there's a higher power they have to answer to for all of that shit.
Oh, I do. Okay, so we're speaking completely different languages then. So I'm like a hardcore agnostic.
Agnostic.
Yeah.
You believe in a God, but you don't believe it's the same one followed by the mainstream religions.
Agnostic literally just means without knowledge. It just means I don't claim to know about any existence or non-existence of God or any sort of afterlife or anything. I don't think there's enough information, like just in the world, to be able to tell for sure if any of that's true.
Well,
there's no,
for the record, I haven't seen enough evidence to make me want to go into being an atheist.
Well, it's more about the lack of evidence.
There's been some things that not only I have witnessed, but accounts from others that make me I couldn't help but to think that maybe, just maybe, there is a higher force that we are currently don't have the means of properly comprehending, that is influencing all sentient life that we know of in one way or another.
Okay, so you'd say, I'm sorry, I just looked at the fucking video and I got distracted by chat for a second. But you're basically saying you feel like there probably is some sort of higher like power, but you're not entirely sure? Is that what you're...
I don't have enough evidence to say that there isn't, but the more I live and the more people I come across and hear their stories about such things, I'm going to have to say that there are some things that are just supernatural in our universe.
Okay, that's fair. But so it seems like you do a little bit sort of lean towards atheism, not entirely, but you do. So
no,
you're not entirely sure about the existence of God, right? You're not 100% on board with that. Is that?
I'm just wondering if he really wants to communicate with us, are we capable of listening and understanding him?
Okay, so here, real quick, just to pull us back to what we were talking about before.
Because this is a tangent.
Oh yeah, no, it for sure is. But let's try to have a more like
to the subject about the ideology we're talking about.
Yeah, so let's go back to the Native American stuff really quick, okay? And if we could keep it more secular, that'd be nice because, like, if you do believe in a God, well, if you do believe in a God, then of course, the people that did that are all fucking burning in hell or whatever. But like
I mean, they're just going to answer for it, just not yet. Anyway, their crimes are not on the hands of the blood they spilled is not on the hands of their descendants.
Okay, here, no, I'm sorry, just let me, because I figured this was where you were going, just let me explain really quick. I would say, of course, like, our great-grandfathers, my great-great-great-grandfathers, fucking, like, if he had anything to do with, like, a Native American genocide, that's not fucking my fault. But I would say, if things are still bad because of that nowadays in the world we live in, and I can do something about it, and I choose not to, then it starts to kind of become my fault. Right? Like, if there's something I can do to, like, help with that situation, I should. Otherwise, I'm almost culpable. You know what I mean?
The best you can do is give someone an opportunity. You don't have to look for trying to force an outcome. That's all I can give you there.
Well, I mean, all humans do is try to force outcomes that are beneficial for us, right? I mean, like, that's...
Unfortunately, the people that do that are... The people that do that often do way more harm than any good.
Wait, what about like lowering childbirth like mortality and stuff? That's a super unnatural thing to do. Like they forced like nature to.
I'm not talking about making sure that we can improve our chances of living.
Well, yeah, but no, you're talking
kind of outcomes.
But well, no, I thought we were talking about just broadly unnatural things we do to improve our outcomes.
Look, give them an opportunity to prove themselves, to show their merits, to show what they are capable of, to see if they are deserving to be in a position where there's hard work and efforts can be rewarded properly and seen by others properly.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, let's fucking go back to that. Okay, so you would agree that if there was some societal limitation on like women or minorities like going into like certain fields and stuff, like some weird ass limitation that it can't really be explained by biology, it has to be like a societal thing. You would agree that those sorts of limitations are bad and we should try to tear them down, right? So that people can go explore those different opportunities, right?
If someone forcing something, as in putting someone down because of gender, skin color, or sexual orientation, and think that these people cannot succeed and shouldn't be offered any kind of opportunity to prove themselves because of those things, then the person or persons responsible should be held accountable for that.
But you don't think there's any sort of societal thing that might be keeping these people down, or even keeping them from like just not giving them a good start in life to the point where they, like, even if they do have an opportunity to try these things, they don't have the background to, like, really jump on them. Because let's say, like, I don't know, they grew up in a shit household. They never really did well in school because, you know, their parents were always fucking fighting. You know, like, maybe his dad was a fucking alcoholic, beat the shit out of him or something like that. Just they grew up in a real shit environment. Never really did well in school. Never really got that good of a shot. Would you say that that's also, like, an issue?
A wiser man before me said, well, here's the thing about that situation. All of us, in one way or another, has faced challenges like that. It's a mix of multiple things, including how we deal with them, as well as choosing who we seek help from and what kind of advice we take from them.
Okay, but some people, especially really so I'm thinking of like black people in America. They were fucked over for when it comes to slavery. They were fucked over after slavery with like things like redlining. They've only in
some like talking to here.
Oh well, then you would know. I would hope anyway. So
and like and let me tell you about that. Here's the redlining thing. You're talking to a guy that does his history, especially in the history of the country he grew up in. The people who did the redlining thing, oh boy, that was a mixed bag.
A mixed bag? Wait, you gotta explain.
Well, you're right. There were some people that used that as an excuse to just screw over black people.
No, I think the entirety of it was literally just them fucking over black people. I think that was explicitly what they were doing.
Wait a minute, let me finish.
All right.
However, I'm not denying that there were people in there who wanted to do that to screw a black person over, but there were others there that they only did it because they were told by word of mouth and gossip from the previous people I mentioned to assume the worst out of and were either too afraid or lazy to look in it for themselves. Luckily for us, as time went on, the people that did it maliciously got bit in the ass for that behavior. And
I don't know if that's entirely true.
There's a reason why you don't see redlining happening these days.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was made illegal because it's like a really fucked up practice. But no. Well,
anyway, but
wait, real quick, just I'm sorry, real quick, and I will tie this back into like women's representation in media and all that. I do think there's a comparison to be made, but when black people were enslaved, they weren't given a chance to start accumulating wealth, right? There was no like generational wealth there, and even after slavery, they were still kneecapped by things like redlining or the Jim Crow era in general seemed to make it really hard for. Let me answer
that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, which one you want first, Jim Crow or generational wealth? Which one you want me to cover first?
Well, I think they're both like it's kind of like they go hand in hand, right?
Okay, here's the thing. First of all, the Jim Crow laws were an act of government and done by people who just didn't think that highly of people who of any differing skin color to them.
Well, when you say just the government, you do recognize that like the government's ran by the people, right? So if the government's doing something, it's like more often than not the majority of people support it to an extent, right?
Yeah, but support at the time, the only voices, the areas of North America that were doing that weren't exactly the same. Listening to the people, the vast majority of people of which even at that time didn't want anything to do with slavery, and I love.
The South had literally just fought a war over slavery not that long before.
Hold up. Even in those areas, the number of actual slave owners in there made up of at least 8% of the populace of that region.
Well, yeah, but it's not just the slave owners that were in support. You don't have to be a slave owner to support the practice of slavery, especially since everybody was bought in to an extent because it was a huge driving force of the Southern economy.
It was more of there was a reason why, yeah, but you'd be surprised how many people living in the South wanted nothing to do with that.
I know, I would be if you're being like, I just don't think that's true. They fought a war. They fought a war for it, right? Like,
the more the ones. Yeah, and it was bankrolled by the ones that were more influential in the South than the regular people, and unfortunately,
no, I think we gotta because they fought the war over slavery.
I'm probably not explaining it right, but the thing is, in a whole, even though there were not that many slave owners in the South, they had a lot more influence than the people in the South that were against it. They had more sway and pull with the government than the abolitionists that were in the South.
Wait, dude, if you're saying that slave owners essentially mind fucked the Southern population into having a civil war in their honor or whatever, like that,
they swayed their political party into forming a confederacy.
No,
they backed that, and they backed Jefferson Davis, thinking that Jefferson Davis would allow them to keep doing what they're doing.
So you don't think people in the South, like just average people, non-slave slave owners, people that once again were part of this economy that relied on slavery, they didn't feel invested in that at all? They just fought the war because some rich person essentially mind fucked them? Is that
more like they just got suckered in? Got screwed. They almost got it screwed over as the slaves did, and I'm saying it is someone that is descended of slaves.
No. I just okay. We have to go back. This is not. No. This is not going in the direction we needed to. I didn't realize there was going to be this much of a difference. Okay, so
I'm just not explaining it right. But the thing is, look, as far as the Civil War goes, there was the waters are a lot more muddy than I can clearly convey on my own.
I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry. I'm not pretty sure. I am positive. I am positive the majority of the average people in the South supported like slavery, and that's why they fought the war. Here, but we gotta here. I'm gonna try a different tact. Okay, so the whole point I was trying to drive at is that there have been certain things that barred. I don't think there is that much. I mean, like those sorts of things are always really complicated, but like I don't think it is that much more complicated.
Don't get me wrong. Slavery was the straw that broke the camel's back, and believe me,
it was like the thing. It was the thing, dude. No, we have to stop. I'm sorry. We have to.
The abolitionist movement was growing in the South just as it was in the North.
Obviously, not that much though, because they fought a fucking war for it, dude.
They couldn't.
Why couldn't they? What?
The influences the slaveholders did.
No, okay. I'm sorry. No, please, my friend, we're going down a bad path. I want to focus back on representation in media.
There were people that wanted in the South that wanted to abolish slavery.
Yeah, you can find
their voices heard.
Dude, you could find Nazis that were fucking sympathetic to Jewish people. I'm sure, but that doesn't like point to
not Nazis.
No, literal Nazis, part of the Nazi party. I bet you anything there were some fucking that were sympathetic towards the Jews. You can find literally any edge case you look for. So but we got it.
Like I said, it was. Let me just say this one part, then we can move on. It's a lot. The waters on that subject are too muddy for me to clear up on my own. And we'll just move on from there. Trust me, We're on the same page of the Civil War.
Okay. So the point I was trying to drive at is sometimes there are like unfair like walls put up that make it difficult. Exactly. That make it difficult for certain groups to do certain things in society. And I am very much for tearing down all those unnecessary walls. Like sometimes when it comes to gender roles and stuff, there is a reason why we do the things we do. But sometimes, even if there is a reason, it's like the outcomes are just so bad to the point where it's not even worth it. And I would say that when it comes to like women, and I think representation in media. So I brought up the Scully effect when we were talking in the comments section. The Scully effect is, I don't think I elaborated. I'm not sure if you looked into it, but the Scully effect is essentially, there was a TV show called The X-Files, and there was a FBI agent / doctor in it, where she was one of the leads with
Agent
Mulder.
Scully.
Yeah, and it turns out that I think around 60% of girls that watched that show on a regular basis were like way more likely.
In college.
No, they weren't. No, they were way more likely to go into STEM fields for it.
Hold up. We're talking about the X-Files, right?
Yeah.
The original series from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
The demographic that watched that show and were fans of the character you're talking about were already young women who were already applying for colleges.
No, hold on, dude. I gotta find the date for this study. No, hold on. There was a study over this to like try to prove the Scully effect in 2018, and it dealt with people in the age range of 25 to 30, I believe. So at the time, at the time the X-Files was around, they still would have been like teenagers or preteens. So no, they weren't college age yet.
More like high school. More like second year of high school age.
Well, no, but no. Hold on. In the night. Oh my God, I have to do math now. Okay, let's say 25. It was done in 2018. So yeah, no, they probably would have been like around 10 to 15 or so at the time. Like the X-Files was really like out there.
Around that time, they were thinking about making another version of the series with different actors to reprise what happened with the original series. Because I'm talking about the one from the 90s.
Well, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's the one. The Scully effect is over. No, okay, here. So a lot of these people that they're studying, they probably watched the show. I gotta read more. No, like just going off the age alone, they did watch the show before they were even college age. Which you were saying that the majority of them were already in college. That's not true.
No, they were getting ready to go to college.
No, wait. If they're no, they weren't. Like if they're in the age range between like 10 and 16 or something like that. No. Wait, what 16-year-old? Dude, the few 16.
Like 16-year-old, there's a lot of people there are a lot of teachers that want to ask 16-year-olds, what plans do you plan on going to college?
Yes, I agree that some people start thinking about college in high school, but there's also like what field you end up choosing and whatnot. Dude, women that watch the show, women that watch this show when they were still kids on a regular basis were 63%, nearly 2/3, 63% of women were who are familiar with Dana Scully say she increased their belief in the importance of STEM. Like, it increased the potential for these women to go into STEM fields by over half. Like, that's insane. Don't you think that's significant?
Wait a minute.
Here, I can tell you what I'm looking at.
We're talking 1990s. We're talking mid to late 90s.
No, I'm talking specifically right now about a study that was done in 2018 to prove the Scully effect.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about when the Scully effect happened.
Well, no, they are too. No, they are too. I'm just saying there was a recent study done to show like the Scully effect did have a significant impact on women going into STEM fields.
Yeah, but I like checking my variables, you know.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you want to see the study I'm talking about, or?
I just like.
I can link it to you, or like I can tell you what I'm looking at exactly, and we can go over a few of them if you want, just to like check stuff out.
All right, because sometimes it could be a lot bigger than some things could be a lot. Some things it could be a lot bigger than we both first think.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, think about it. Around that time, Agent Scully wasn't the only positive female.
No, you're right. You're right. There's also something called the Uhura effect. It was a character in Star Trek in 1966, which had a very similar effect on women.
It means this phenomenon predates what we call the Scully effect.
It does. No, you're right. What I'm saying though is like representation in media is almost like 100% proven to lead to more women like going into STEM fields and stuff. Before there was more of an acceptance. You saw like almost no women going into these fields like at all. It was like a male dominated thing. But like things like this show that once you remove that societal barrier, women are like just about as willing and just about as capable of going into these fields.
Yes. True, but the thing is, they did more than just make the character a woman. They had to make something, use something as a foundation, while the character's gender was something that had to be a second thought. Otherwise, it would have had the opposite outcome.
Sorry, they had to make a character that was are you saying they had to make like more of a convincing character, or like what do you?
Well, they had to focus on the content. For lack of a better, the content of the character's character. Is this character someone who is compassionate? Is this someone who is loyal? Are they hardworking? Are they driven? Are they passionate about what they do? Is this person a good person, or someone that many others, not just people that are the same gender and skin color, can relate to?
Well, right. So they have to be a well-written character. Yeah.
Well-rounded and well-written and well-rounded.
Yeah. No, I would agree.
The character in the original Star Trek, Uhura, she was a well-written character. And it helped that the actress that they chose to play that character was a great actor.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Like, if you're going to make characters like this, like the writing does, in a large part, need to come first. I completely agree with that. But I'm saying, like, overall, my argument is that representation, like doing these sorts of things, does lead to better outcomes for women, and it shows that they're just as capable as men of getting into these fields and stuff. So that's why I had a problem with It's a Gundam's video, because it sounded like he was heavily implying that anything woke is just garbage, but it's not. There's a lot of value there.
The thing is, the characters we've been mentioning, Agent Scully, Officer Uhura, Padme Amidala, Princess Leia. None of these characters are woke. These characters.
Well, but they kind of were, weren't they? Like,
there's the problem, though. You want to associate something that is good, well written, and positive with with basically a concept that has been proven to be the opposite of those things.
No, I'm not, because they're expressing very similar ideas and beliefs to what's being expressed nowadays. It's just they did it well.
As David Tennant said before me, just because it's a footprint doesn't mean it's a boot.
Well, can you elaborate a little bit?
Just because something looks like a, just because something has feathers and can fly doesn't mean it's a duck.
Okay, yeah, sure, but like what I'm saying is these ideas are like a one-to-one. Like when it comes to like women being more independent, striving to have a career, be successful on their own and stuff. Like those are the ideas being expressed nowadays, which like correlate heavily to things like the X-Files or Star Trek. Apparently.
Let me try to explain it.
Well, no, I know what you're saying. You're saying what I'm saying is they're not different ideas at all. Like
the thing is,
it's a duck, dude.
Yeah, but these ideas are not a one-to-one. One says that it is all for pushing for more positive representation for women and minorities, but their actions say otherwise. Well, what came before it not only said but did what it said it was going to do and has done. What came before was positive representation for not just women and minorities, but for all people who could relate to the characters made prior to what has been coming out lately.
So you think pretty much everything that's come out lately is there's no when it comes to the ideas they're expressing, there's no similarity. It's something different.
They're just saying that they're doing the positive representation thing, but their actions have bear fruit that has said otherwise, that has proven otherwise. I would not call the current version of Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, positive representation of a good role model for women to relate to, because that character is an arrogant, selfish, violent, unreasonable, and if you looked at that Captain Marvel movie, it can be argued that she was more of a villain than the Kree were.
Okay, so what? Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me. How do you feel about the Barbie movie?
It seemed a bit of a mid.
Why do you feel that way?
Nothing against Margot Robbie. Trust me, I got nothing against Margot Robbie or who did they get to play Ken again?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm not sure. I can look it up real quick.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
Oh man, no. Talk about a forgettable face.
Jesus. Well, here, the point I was going at with the Barbie movie is I've heard that it is kind of like ham-fisted when it comes to like empowerment, or women empowerment, them being independent, not needing men and all that. It seems like though, their target audience, women, it seems like they like it a lot. Like they don't seem to have a problem with it, even though it is a little bit ham-fisted. And it's also like getting across a very positive message for those women.
The content, the premise of the movie was apparently this is universe where the people there were pretty much lifelike versions of the famous Barbie and Ken dolls.
Well,
and one of the Barbies ended up somehow traveled through a rift in reality that brought her to our world, and she saw how men and women were acting in our world according to the people who wrote the script for the movie. Then she found another rift back to her universe, and she told everyone about all the bad things she's seen men do in our world, and she decided to make everything in her Barbie universe to be matriarchal because of it, out of fear of the Kens being as bad as the men from that universe.
But at the end, didn't they come to like some sort of agreement to like kind of go their own ways? It was more of like a mutual thing at the end. Well, so wait, how's it different? You said it was different because they weren't like real humans, or
they were a different kind of humans, more like a different path for human evolution for that.
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, no, it seems like what they were going through and the like ways of thinking were very human. The message overall was something that like human women can relate to, even though Barbie apparently isn't like a real woman or something.
But apparently going by what was happening in the movie, one individual got the wrong idea of an entirely different group of people. Took out an entirely.
Well, I mean, for a while, I don't know if it was an entirely wrong idea. I mean, like
they come to a conclusion. They made an assumption based on what they were seeing.
Oh, so you think the entire premise is fucked? Okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the character just made a mistake. And near the end of the movie, where she found out that all the other Barbies and Kens weren't being happy with the choices they were making based on her mistake, they decided to pump the brakes and fix the mistake. Nothing against that idea. I'm all for a movie that teaches you that if you make a mistake, you should own up to it and try to fix it.
Well, it seems okay. Hold on, fuck. So you would say that they made a wrong assumption. You said that. Would you say that there was an imbalance between the sexes for like a giant chunk of human history? Would you agree with that, or
what? Yeah, our history, yes.
Do you think those problems persist to an extent to this day?
Not as it used to be. There's a lot of issues that both men and women face in this day and age that have gone unaddressed. Unfortunately, the vast majority of these issues for both sexes are going to keep going unaddressed until we learn to, one, accept that.
I'm still listening, by the way. Yeah.
Well, the problem is there are issues that have gone unaddressed for one side that led to issues being caused for another side, which in turn led to more issues to be caused back to the original side and back and forth.
Well, so I know there's issues when it comes to guys not going to college, ironically enough nowadays. But I mean, what other problems would you say guys are facing? There is an increase in like inceldom. Oh God, I made a video on that, and the response was interesting.
Don't get me. I've had the misfortune of looking into them, and I'm surprised I haven't thrown up yet.
Jesus, actually, oh dude, the video I watched on incels that I like made my own video on. Yeah, there's some yikesy stuff going on with some of those guys. They need to get out of those fucking Discord rooms. They just need to run. But well, anyway,
these are just old school forum message boards, older than 4chan.
Wait, okay, so here, first off, I acknowledge that when it comes to trying to prove anything, there's going to be some like negative consequences, right? It's never just all good. There's always going to be like some bad to it. But I don't think that's necessarily an argument against like progress. Like first off, as long as we should try to maximize that good while minimizing bad. Yes, but like
we should also note that we shouldn't just change something for the sake of change.
Well, and most people have reasons for why they try to change things. Like, what do you think? Like us liberals are trying to change just to change stuff.
Well, I'm glad you said liberal because that means you're not a partisan left-winger. Because I've had this kind of discussions with partisans left-wingers, and wow, it's like trying to explain gravity to a flat earther.
Well, I try to extend my brain out to other people's a little bit. We'll see though. So yeah, go ahead and try to explain it to me.
Well, for starters, change is good, but you shouldn't change something for the sake of change. You should assess the situation to see what can be done properly to deal with the negatives that are there without without making any new negatives.
But that's impossible. Like you recognize if you change anything, especially with a society as complicated as ours.
I mean, try to mitigate. I'm not saying try to undo, try to prevent all the bad. Just mitigate.
Well, yeah, I would agree. Well, here, real quick. So, what do you think is trying to be changed for no reason, or at least no good reason?
Well, for starters, they are doing the things that they're pushing on on demographics that are just too young to handle this subject matters.
Are you talking about transgender stuff or LGBTQ stuff? Is that
look?
Or what do you?
As far as those things are concerned, there is a time and a place in your life to explore and discover such things. However, you should not do so when you're still going through elementary school and middle school.
Well, I mean, it completely depends on what you're talking about. Some things are fine to explore when you're that age. Other things I would agree are a little bit sketchier.
Look, as a kid, as young as grade school and stuff, the only thing you should focus on is how you're gonna do your best and at the school work that you're working on. What kind of fun things you can do with your best friends, and see how fast you can go on your bike compared to your friends. How which of you and your friends are good at playing things like kickball or dodgeball and things like that.
Sure, but let's focus on what kids shouldn't be focusing on right now that they are that you have a problem with.
They shouldn't be focusing on things such as sexual orientation.
Oh, so it is LGBTQ stuff. Okay, and don't worry about it. We can talk about this.
Look, there's a time to figure that out. Your childhood is not it.
Well, I would say
be a kid for as long as be innocent. Be a kid for as long as you can before you focus on things like that.
Well, I agree they shouldn't start fucking at that age or anything, but
they shouldn't be. But here's the ticker. The people that are doing this ignore that thing we agree on and go even further extreme. They go as far as putting explicit material that is by a psychological standing highly inappropriate for a mind that young.
Like what exactly? I mean, we can't be talking about pornography because I'm sure pretty much everyone's on the same page with that in kids.
Look, there's a lot about the leftists that you don't know about.
Oh, I don't know. I'm part of the party, so I'm not.
I'm talking about the same kind of people that have been the same kind of people I'm talking about are the same ones that are defending Just Stop in your comment sections.
Wait, are the same ones that defend stopping my comment sections? Or what? Are the people in them? Is that?
Look, you know the people that have been popping in your comment sections defending the YouTuber Just Stop? I mean, Second Thought?
Or oh, you're talking about fucking socialists and communists. Okay, yeah.
Those are the same people who want to put books and novels, if not sexual things short of the Kama Sutra, in grade school and middle school libraries.
Okay, hold on. So first off, socialists and communists, whatever party exists in America that surrounds those ideas is tiny, if almost non-existent. So I wouldn't worry. No, it's true. It's growing a little bit because of the internet.
Well, I'm not saying they're a party. I'm saying that they have the influence they have in the public school system allows them to put those.
I don't think they exist to a large enough extent to have that sort of effect. First off, secondly, no one's pushing for any explicitly sexual material to be in kids' books.
The books that have been found were that explicit.
Wait, can you give me an example?
Well, for instance,
like an actual book, like a title of a book.
I gotta pull it up to remember it because it's been a couple of months since I last talked about the
Here,
subject.
well, do that real quick because like I can't just like I have a very hard time believing that are there like school books for kids that have like explicitly sexual images in them. I'm talking like dicks out, you know, freaking like just dangling everywhere, you know, like actual explicit sexual stuff.
I'm gonna have to. I know an associate. I know a fellow YouTuber that did this a lot better.
I just need a name of a book, like.
He knows the name of the book. That's what I'm getting.
Okay, can you look it up real quick or something? I'm sorry to do this to you. It's just like I have such a hard time.
I can.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So I'm sorry. I'm not just taking your word for it, but that. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I don't expect you to. I'm just have a hard time remembering that book. You think I remember something that's shocking.
No, I don't fault you for it or anything. I don't think you're being like weird about it or anything. I get it.
I'm not trying to lie to you or.
Oh no, I know. Yeah, I know. I understand. Yeah, I trust you as far as that goes. Anyway, you seem like a pretty chill guy. So yeah.
Man, all I know, I do remember that the group Moms for Liberty covered a book. It was more than a few books. I'll remember them.
Here, actually, while you're, you found it. Okay.
Here we go. I got 3 of them.
Okay.
One is called Gender Queer. This book, in spite of its name, not exactly a book you want to read to kids in grade school or middle school. The second book, Lawn Boy. Oh boy.
Lawn Boy?
Yeah. Oh no, definitely not for kids. This is something you should be reading. Frankly, if you got a strong enough stomach, something you should be reading when you're just in the middle of your freshman year in college.
Okay, here, let's stop there. Let me look into this a little bit more. Wait, that cannot be what's actually in the book. What the fuck?
I kid you not.
Across Iowa. What? Hold on. Dude, my party better not be saying this shit's okay to have like a 6-year-old rate. Wait, hold on.
They do. This group does that, and they're in school. They're in the public school system.
Hold on. 5 seconds.
And they got teachers on their side. I gotta
read in. Oh shit! I shouldn't have asked for examples because I did. Oh god, I gotta do some reading. Hold the fuck up, Jesus Christ!
Now you know how I feel.
Illustrated by.
I know how I feel when I heard about it. At first, I didn't believe him either, but I did my research. I looked into the names of the books. I looked at other people that were covering the books, and holy shit, they want kids to see this stuff. Little kids. They want grade school kids looking at this stuff. And worse yet, they also want to do things like take kids to performances that are meant for adults.
Wait, hold on. I guess now my question is like, how old were the kids that were actually like? Was this in grade schools or was this in like high schools?
Not high schools, much younger. I'm talking elementary and middle school.
Well, there's a lot of words, which makes me think it might be for like a bit of an older audience.
I know it's meant for an older audience, but they want the material in the face. They want this stuff in the they want the materials in these books pushed on kids that young, and that is a red flag for me. And I don't blame a lot of these parents.
Hold on,
especially mothers, having a problem with this.
No, it sounds like this was for like maybe junior hires, but like junior hires to high school, typically ages of 14 to 15. That's a little. I'm not here. Fuck. I need to. 1 sec. I need confirmation. I need to know like what schools this was in. That is so important to how I react to this.
All I can tell you is, from what I dug up, these books were not meant to be read by anyone younger than college age, or anyone
Well, I'm not entirely sure about that one. That's a little trickier. Like, how much do we talk about? Like, how open are we about sex to like teenagers? I mean, they're approaching adulthood. It's good to be.
As a if we're talking therapy wise, subject matters like this are not meant to be discussed student to teacher, but best properly when ready to be heard from parent to child.
Wait, so are you against like sex education overall in schools, or?
Sex education is one thing.
Well, what if this was like this was part of that?
Speaking as someone that's been through the education system, these kind of material, you can have sex ed without discussing books like Lawn Boy or Genderqueer. Materials like that highly inappropriate for anyone that isn't about to leave high school. Sex ed is the basic stuff that lets the students that are old enough to hear this material understand the process of reproduction. What these people are doing are pretty much telling you how to do things. You're seeing things like I don't think let's just say it rhymes with razzers.
Well, okay, so fuck. Hold on. I'm looking for some images of Lawn Boy is pedophile. What the? Oh my god! No, I don't. Is it? What is there? There's like an older man.
They want that
fucking what?
They want that book in grade schools and middle schools.
No, well, hold on. Okay, so it doesn't seem like this was intended for. It doesn't seem like either book was intended for grade schoolers. First off,
but the people who want those books in there don't care.
Well, I'm not sure if these books really were in grade schools. It seems like it would have been like junior high or high school. Once again,
people are trying to put them in the younger grades.
All right. Oh my god, I have to fact check this shit. And it's good. Hold on.
If you need a little bit more help, I can try to get a word in with Walk Don't Run.
Oh, hold on. Okay, so this one's saying, okay, so for Washoe County, I'm not sure what state that's in, but they don't. Well, they don't have any copies of Lawn Boy in their elementary or middle schools. It seems like that is like, yeah, it's for young adults. It's specifically for high schools, which I'm a lot more okay with. It still depends on the content of the books, but I've obviously never read these.
Going by the more controversial things found in Lawn Boy, oh boy, it seems like, let's just say that if the roles were reversed in what was going on in that book, somebody would have ended up on a watch list.
I can't speak to that here. What I will speak to is well, the fact that we can at least agree. Well, from what I've seen, it doesn't seem like these books are in grade schools. It seems like these books are geared towards like young adults trying to figure out their sexuality, or like teenagers, right?
Yeah, but unfortunately, there are a bunch of really out there teachers in the education system that want kids really younger than the intended audience to see this, to be able to get their hands on this stuff. And let me tell you, that's a lot worse than one day having little Bobby come across his college age brother's copy of Playboy. That's a whole different ball game.
Okay, sure, yeah, but it seems like this stuff A, wasn't intended for that audience, and B, I would be amazed if there were a ton of like fucking third grade teachers trying to push this on their students. That would actually blow my fucking mind. It doesn't seem like this stuff is like pervasive in grade schools or anything like that. If teachers are doing that, they probably shouldn't be. You probably shouldn't be sharing explicitly sexual content with your fucking students. But I would say
stay off of TikTok because you ain't gonna like what you find there.
Well, no, I would say there's
teachers are bragging about it on TikTok.
I would say there's a place for those sorts of books. There's a I could see like, okay, for instance, I'm taking myself back to like sex ed in high school. If our teacher had like walked us through a book like that, I don't think there's anything necessary. I mean, we saw like diseased cocks and shit. I don't know. I don't know if there's like anything necessarily bad about that. Like,
Yeah, I can understand showing the effects of STDs and VDs.
yeah, but like showing like like high school as a book like this could help some of them that are struggling with their sexuality to come to terms with it a little bit. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything positive you can assess from Lawn Boy other than do the opposite of what's going on in that.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure. And like when it comes to sexually explicit content in schools, it depends. It very much depends. That's definitely a sketchier area to talk about. But I could see books like that being used in an educational way in for sex education. I could see that. Definitely not for grade schoolers though. I would agree.
Unfortunately, there's a bunch of teachers, especially on that disagree with us, and they're bragging about doing so on TikTok. And trust me, it takes about at least 2 minutes to just find teachers like that on TikTok boasting about that shit, and a lot quicker to get mad about it, to get angry when they do so. And I can see why there's so many mothers out there and fathers that are pretty much saying, don't try to pull this stuff on us with our kids, and I don't blame the parents for doing that. And what gives those same parents more anger is that there are teachers that are telling their students that are in middle school and grade school that we're going to tell you things that we don't want you telling your parents about.
So I agree. Anything like that, you automatically start getting into a sketchy territory. Parents should be informed. Parents should be informed about what the kids are being taught. Well, there are edge cases. I would say if there's something going on, our teacher suspects kids being abused by the parents. Like I would say, maybe not giving the parents all the information in that case. So there are definitely certain cases. Or okay, actually, what about this? What if there was an obviously like gay boy in some grade school class or whatever, and his parents were really homophobic, and it was starting to show. Like they were like essentially like putting him through gay therapy and shit. It was really starting to show, and this teacher saw that and tried to help out the boy come to terms with his sexuality outside of like his parents' influence. Would you have a problem with that?
Okay, since what you're describing, I got to be careful because, like you said, edge cases. One, I would have to have a discussion I would have to see for myself what goes on with what the parents are doing and how the parents actually feel about the said subject matter. And second of all, it's not my place to just automatically assume that a child that young is actually of that persuasion, because this child is.
Well, what if you knew? Like, what if you knew?
Well, he may know and probably don't understand what it is, and
well, no, I would say kids seem to have a pretty decent understanding of their sexuality at a pretty young age.
Yeah, but they don't really know what the word for that is, and
so wouldn't it be important to?
But the thing is, here's the key word thing. It takes them. They need that proper time and space to grow into being able to fully understand that thing about themselves.
Right, but what if they're not given that space because their parents are like hardcore Christian or something, and the teacher knows all this? Like, what should the teacher do in that case?
Well, unless, and I can't stress this any further, unless we're dealing with some Steven Anderson type of parents, there's very little a teacher can do without because if the teachers found out that the parents were those Steven Anderson types, then that's when someone with a little bit more power and authority can step in.
Well, no, I'm not talking about like necessarily. It's just like I don't know if CPS could take away the kid if all the parents are doing is like trying to make them stop being gay. I'm not. I don't think they could at that point.
If they're hurting the kid, that's why I said Steven Anderson, because you want to know what Steven Anderson does to gay people.
Well, here. Okay, so I'm talking about like a lot of people would consider like gay therapy to be like an abusive thing, like a harmful thing to put a gay kid through. But
I wouldn't put any kid through something that would mean to force them to go against what their natural orientation.
Okay, but what I'm saying is because teachers actually have to deal with these dilemmas. Like, would you say just would you say okay yeah, the household it's more or less loving, but like there's a lot of friction when it comes to the kid's sexuality, and he's having a lot of trouble. His parents are not supportive at all. They're trying to get him straight, right? The teacher knows all this and like takes him to the side, like occasionally after class or something like that, and like talks to him and helps him through like what it is to be gay, and helps him understand that's not like a bad thing. Would you say that's a breach of sorts? Like would that be inappropriate for the teacher to do?
One, you have to approach it according to the kid's age.
Well, right. Of course, like I'm not saying the teacher should be like, okay, and this is how you suck. Like, yeah, no.
All right. It is all. First off, you gotta consider the kid's age. Once you figure that out.
Wait, so do you think so? Like, if a grade schooler is struggling with this stuff, the grade school is like obviously like more like homosexual or whatever. He's struggling with this stuff. The parents trying to convert him or whatever. The teacher just shouldn't touch that. Is that
the best thing the teacher could do is give sound, appropriate advice to the kid according to the kid's age.
So I'm the teacher, and I pull the kid to the side, and I'm like, hey, I know what your parents are saying, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with your orientation. You are who you are, and this is absolutely fine. Like, if they're saying something along those lines and trying to help them accept themselves for who they are, would that be bad?
If you say, I wouldn't word it the way you would. I would say, look here, your parents are telling you these things, telling you that who you are is bad, but the thing is, they don't know you. You know you, and there are some things in time you'll know more about yourself, and you shouldn't let others, not your parents, not me, force you into being something that you're not.
Okay. It seems like we're in agreement. We agree. Then, like, yeah, like I don't think.
Yeah, but take note of how I said that.
Well, I guess you didn't bring up the word gay. Is that? I don't.
It's no. The way I said it covered a lot of bases without being inappropriate.
Well, okay, but what's inappropriate to you? I guess that's what I'm driving at. Well, what would be like the smallest bit of inappropriateness? Like,
If the kid was in high school, I say around 17 years old, about in the middle of high school, and he just finds out that he might be gay, I'm just gonna tell him or her, hey, what you're talking about is a very serious and personal thing. And
wait, okay, I'm sorry to stop. I get it. I'm just trying to figure out like what do you consider to be inappropriate? Like what's like I understand that like teaching a kid how to suck somebody off, like that's inappropriate. But like so that's one of the major inappropriatenesses, right? We're looking for like a minor inappropriateness. What even like bringing up the word gay to like a 6-year-old, would that be inappropriate?
There's a time and a place for that.
No, well I don't. I would disagree with that. I don't think there's anything because it's literally what they are, right? Like gay. There's nothing.
It's a lot to wrap your head around with that subject, and as a kid, that could be a little stressful as a kid than it would be if you were, say, a teenager.
Well, once again, I feel like kids have more of a grasp on their sexuality than I think you might be giving them credit for. I mean, they're still like obviously learning. They're fucking kids, but like I don't.
They tend to overthink and get overwhelmed a lot more than they would if they were adolescents.
But like to the point where like even just putting a word to it.
well, they would overthink and they would get and their natural add
What?
on to it that curiosity with their overthinking, and it could cause more trouble, cause them more issues that will require extensive therapy later on.
But like what exactly? I'm because I just don't agree.
Well, maybe I'm not wording this right.
Well, like it seems like once again you have a problem with like a teacher calling putting a name to it, like even just saying, "Oh, you would be considered like gay."
It's not a. We shouldn't. First off, the teacher shouldn't be the one to bring it up.
Okay, but what if nobody else in their life? What if their parents once again are just like absolutely 100% totally against it to the point where it's like it's obviously affecting the kid, like.
Well, I would have to figure out what. If they verbally express what they've been doing to the kid, then the teacher can do something. The teachers and the faculty of the school could be able to do something about it.
Hold on, I need to answer a question for myself. Also, we're so off the main topic at this point. But hold on.
We can get this back. We can pull this back.
Oh my god, I forgot. Sorry, my brain's starting to go. I forgot what I was even gonna type. Fuck. Here can CP. Yeah, I did. It's just this is a new experience for me. Can CPS take away kid for conversion therapy?
It falls under abuse, so they can do something about it.
Well, I'm not sure if it's legally considered to be abusive. I mean, it's still practiced in the U.S., at least in certain places.
And you'd be surprised how many conservatives are against it.
Oh, wait.
You'd be surprised.
It depends. Once again, you can always find like people in groups, like once again, Nazis supporting it, like secretly supporting Jews. Well, no, I'd say like in large part, I would imagine like super Christian people, and Christians tend to be like conservative, would more or less be okay with some form of conversion therapy.
Ever heard of the phrase shifting pendulums?
Are you talking about like conservatives taking on more liberal ideas and vice versa?
Among other things, it's one of the factors in why you'd be surprised how many conservatives, young and old, are against the practice of conversion therapy, because there are lines, regardless of political leaning, that a human would never cross.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry, real quick. So apparently 50% of LGBTQ youths between the ages of 13 and 17 live in states that ban conversion therapy. So there's that for minors. So yeah, it seems like at least, yeah, there are definitely states that still allow this stuff. So the scenario we're talking about is definitely possible. It's good though. I didn't realize that. Yeah, it seems like a decent chunk of states banned conversion therapy for minors. But
you gotta give yourself some. You gotta be able to be more good faith to others. Just because they seem to be they appear to be adherent to just this one side of the political spectrum doesn't mean you got the whole story.
No, it just I don't want to give personal I have a lot of experience with conservatives. Let's just say that. I have like a lot. These sorts of ideas are definitely more accepted than you're giving them credit for. They're way more accepted than you're giving them credit for.
Yeah, but the people who accept them are not exactly accepted as a whole by the mainstream.
I'm not, dude. I guess. Fuck. I have Google right in front of me. Percent.
The swath is a lot bigger than you think it is.
Of
what we think is what all one group, one side of the spectrum. It's actually shared and agreed with an extreme sect.
Oh, you actually might be right. It seems like there might be some bipartisan support for this.
Exactly. Like I said, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who don't want any more bipartisan consensus on anything. They want division. They want everyone thinking black and white.
Well, I would say there's definitely like legitimate I don't know if there's like this like fucking secret cabal of people like masterminding all this.
I'm not saying it's a secret cabal. I'm just saying there's people out there who think that the world would be a better place if people who weren't on the same exact side of the political spectrum from them suddenly just got Thanos snapped.
Okay, I mean, but here, okay. So I will say, it seems like conversion therapy is pretty frowned upon nowadays, which is nice. I'm glad to see that. Here, let's just.
It was okay. As I was saying, here's where I draw the line. I do not want to. I will not support anyone taking little kids, heck, minors in general, to drag shows. They even the most professional and well-known drag performers said that their shows are not made for minors. And guess what happened to those performers? They got ousted and attacked by activists.
Okay, so I could see how that could be an issue. I would say, wait, does the average?
I'll be right back with you. I got a knock on my door. I'll be right back. Give me
okay, actually, that's perfect. I have to pee really, really bad, so I'll be right back.
Hey, you go ahead. You sound more necessary. Hold up. Here I am. All right. See what's going on in the chat room here. See what's going on here.
Okay, much better.
I'm trying to see if I can look through the chat and stuff.
Oh, you would have to go on YouTube. That's where I'm streaming.
That's where I was headed.
Oh, yeah, it might be hard to find my channel.
Hold up,
here, I can give you a title of one of my videos.
Don't worry, I see you live, and that's us. We got 3 people tuning in.
Yeah, I don't. It's not the job of a teacher to explain. I mean, the child is asking the questions. The teacher to. Well, the point I was driving at, Chea, is that sometimes being a teacher is difficult. Sometimes you're put in a position where the best thing for the kid is probably to help them out in one way or another like that. Sometimes, sometimes kids just grow up, they have some pretty fucked situations, and it's good to be able to provide the support that you like, as long as you're like sure it's something that would help them. It's good to be able to provide that support to them if the parents aren't. It all just depends though. I would say more extreme cases like let's say trans kid thinking about getting bottom surgery without talking to their parents. One's more. That's like overboard. I would say something like that.
That is more. They don't need a surgeon. They need a therapist. Because here's the thing about any issue of gender of needing to transition. I know the HRT and the surgery should be available, but only when other forms of therapy have already been tried and then it has been proved by a certified therapist of this person that this is the best path to take.
No, I would agree. The thing is, the therapy typically, the thing, I don't want to show how straight, it's not that bad. It's just, I think it's tacky, but I just catch my breath. Okay. Typically the therapy, the treatment for trans people, like 9 times out of 10 is just, to get on HRT and start transitioning. But I would agree. It's good to talk to a professional about that stuff before like making any big decisions. 100%. I would say that for like any mental disorder, including dysphoria. Oh yeah.
especially if you're under the age of, if you're 18 or younger, you should go to the therapist first. Have them discuss everything about why you're feeling this way, why you want to do this, what exactly, so can better understand where all of this is coming from.
No, yeah, no, I would agree. It's just like 9 times out of 10, the answer is transitioning. But anyways,
Yeah, don't get me started on the people that have seen transitioned and realized that that course of action was a mistake, and they ended. A lot of these people have regretted it.
No, not that many. I think the desister rate is like at 3%.
Yeah, but the thing is,
it's like nothing overall.
Yeah, but the ones that have said that they regretted it, they should have their voices heard, and they should be allowed to express why they make their mistake, and it's a means to make sure that no one else makes the same mistakes they did. Learn from other mistakes.
No, I would disagree. I would disagree. Like, if it's not a widespread issue, I don't think. Well, I think if anything, like bringing it up like that is like you implicitly saying like, oh, a lot of them regret doing this. It's the wrong choice. Quickly.
As in they said it themselves that they made a mistake. They rushed into it.
No, here. No, I understand. I understand. That wouldn't be an issue with like transitioning overall, and I would still agree. Like those people should have like talked to a therapist or a doctor. It really like helps work through those issues. Some people do end up regretting it, but apparently, it seems like the highest percentage you're going to get is 8% of trans people desist, but that also includes people who only did it temporarily. But it seems like 3 to 5% more of the range. I don't think this is a widespread issue. It seems like the vast majority of trans people that transition, like completely 100% are into it. So, like I know.
I know. I'm saying this from someone that has done. That has worked for and has broke bread with people who have transitioned from one gender to another. Which is why I take it with such seriousness.
Well, no, I've met trans people too. I've had friends that are trans. It's what I'm trying to say is it's kind of disingenuous to see like say like, oh, see, all of these people detransitioned. Like sometimes it's not the
number of that percentage, and when you shift the percentage to total number of these people that are part of the whole of this demographic, you tend to see why I'm taking it seriously, because total population of people out of, I say, we'll go with America, since if out of that 10% of 360 million people in America are trans.
It's only like, I think 0.5%, by the way.
Yeah, but that total, you take that total number, that's what, 300 and that's over, that's still over hundreds of thousands of people, and of those hundreds of thousands, there are some among them that have rushed into it without thinking it through. That's still a significant number to consider and to listen to, and to take note of, in order to learn from, to better learn from this. And
it's not that big of it's not that widespread of an issue. Hold on, 20. I'm just trying to do some basic math in my head, but I fucking suck at math. Let's say like, okay, so it's like 16.
You want the number?
Hey, here, hold on. $21. 33%. If I was age 33%. It'd be 0.5%. Oh my god, I'm brain farting. Once again, I'm sorry, my brain's starting to fucking slip. Jesus Christ.
Might be the anxiety.
No, what?
It might be the anxiety, since this is your first live stream.
Oh no, I'm not anxious. I don't have much of an issue like with public speaking.
Oh, look in the chat. PC. I want to make sure I'm reading your name right.
So I think about 1.6 million. Okay, I'm gonna go with 1.6 million, or let's just say 1 million. Nice round number.
Yeah, 1 million people that overdid it with they didn't go through the proper steps of going to transitioning. Turns out that it didn't.
Okay, we're only looking at a few thousand people there.
That
out of 330 million. That's like that. Well, that's a nothing. That is like almost non-existent.
You still don't think. You don't think that there's something that can be learned from hearing from their.
No, not when it's framed as a lot of trans people regret transitioning. No, I think it's worthless. But
okay, moving on.
Wait, hold on. No. What do you disagree with there? If you have like, whoa. Let's say you have 500 people that transition and only one of them desists. What is gleaned from like telling their story exactly? What does that serve?
Report in case something, if any more cases like this happen, that we can better handle it.
Yeah, but the thing is, when conservatives bring this stuff up, it's almost always like trans people regret transitioning.
Yeah, but I'm not doing this from a conservative. I'm doing this as someone that wants to learn from all witness mistakes of the past.
No, what I'm saying is though, if this is usually brought up to like discredit transitioning, then like which it is. That's more often than not why it's that's more or less why it's brought up. And then it's a worthless thing to talk about overall. It's good for therapists to keep it in mind when they're like dealing with trans patients, but otherwise, I don't think it's really that relevant. Wait, but it's not relevant for us really. If there's like nobody out of 100 people that transition, then it's like there's not much to talk about there, right? It seems like it's an effective way to go about like treating dysphoria.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
But yeah, so wait. So do we agree or like?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about the people that have detransition as a means to say that transitioning in general is bad. I'm saying that we should take note of those that have transitioned in order as to why we should always take the proper steady path of going from therapy seeking help from a professional certified therapist, then going through all the processes with them, then moving on to the physical, such as HRT and the surgery.
Okay, it seems like we agree. Like my main issue when it comes to bringing up detransitioning is like fucking fear mongering. That's essentially it. Because like once again, almost no. Okay. Well, almost no trans people like detransition. It's like a very tiny number.
Most of the people I hang with don't practice that because my philosophy is this: a bad tactic is a bad tactic regardless of the target.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fair. Okay. Well, it's weird though. It's because like I thought there was going to be more that we disagree. It seems like we more or less agree on like almost everything we've talked about though.
It's just a communication issue. Now back to our subject. Back to the title of this stream.
Pulling it all the way back. Oh yeah.
Oh boy, and looks like the number of people viewing just doubled.
What? Oh, I have not been paying attention. Yeah, so I'm not talking to you guys.
Okay, but let me acknowledge some of the people there. Yes.
Wait, hold on. No, Pinoid, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? I literally just looked up the number. Whoa. Hold on. Pinoid, I see you in chat. I literally just looked up the numbers, dude. Almost nobody...
Stay away from. Careful with Pinoid. I dealt with that guy too. He is hard-headed.
No, I'm just like almost no fucking trans people detransition. That is a fact. Okay, if you deny that, you are denying literally like our way of like finding out truths about the world. You cannot deny that. Pinoid.
This dude popped so many red pills. I'm surprised he didn't change color.
Okay, dude, I need to. I'm glad that it doesn't. I don't let it come.
He's a MGTOW monk.
Okay, nice. I'm glad. I thought you were going to be a lot more like on the conservative side of things than you turned out to be. Yeah, I can see why you'd call yourself more of an independent now. But I'm glad that didn't let me that, like color and shape our conversation. Yeah, no.
And speaking of which, I've been browsing your comment section from the Just a Gunner video.
Oh, it's Fox. It's absolutely it's Fox.
Yeah, but guess what? A lot of those guys you calling conservatives, you'd be surprised how left wing those guys are.
Oh no, like I wasn't necessarily calling them all conservatives. Well, especially not when I'm talking to them. That's not what I. Well, I usually don't go after like party affiliations. I go after ideas. But no, anyway, dude, that comment section's absolute. I should not have gone after like it's a Gundam's fan base, and then the Star Wars, the Star Wars fan base. That was the one.
Speak of the devil, I checked the dude out. You kind of jumped the gun.
Are you sure about that, dude? I've looked at his content. It seems like he's anti-SJW seems to be a really good way to describe him.
He ain't that cringe. I seen what happened to the anti-SJWs.
But you would say his beliefs seem to like fall in line with like anti-SJW beliefs, right?
He's more along the lines of he's just a bit of an introverted geek that's just a bit of a firebrand because he's seen a lot of other hobbies have been bulldozed by ideologues that want to turn them from escapism to a means of just preaching to more audience members.
Actually, I will say, okay, it seems like maybe I should have made this clear from the start. What I've been doing with my channel at the moment is essentially just looking at videos that it kind of allow me to, well, almost do what you say. I don't like to think of it that way, or it's not like a disingenuous thing I'm doing. I use those videos as a jumping off point to like essentially lay out like where my political positions are like currently. Because like this channel is still super fucking new and all that. That's why I jumped on the Star Wars one. I hadn't gotten a chance to talk about representation in media yet. And plus I dealt with Gundam's fans before, and Jesus Christ, dude, if you should look through the comment section of my my first video on him. It's a fucking mess, and they all are writing fan fiction about me and Destiny having sex. They really want that to happen. Yeah, they really they want that shit to happen, dude.
Hold up. These guys sound more like Jake Gibson fans than just a Gundam. I'm
just saying, like they sound like that video is what like the comment section there made me think they are like hardcore kind of fucking conservative. Yeah, like there was a lot of homophobia going on out of fucking nowhere too. I was like, what the fuck is that?
There's a reason why I said Jake Gibson. There's a reason why I said Jake Gibson, because his followers and him, they would do that kind of stuff. I seen Jake Gibson do this to another guy. Jake Gibson's a hardcore flat earther. And you know what he did to two people that responded to his idiotic claims about the Earth?
Oh, did he fucking raid their channel or something, like dislike bomb it?
He did worse. He straight up in a video pretty much went on at least an 8-minute tirade back and forth about how these are the people that he targeted. Simon Dan and Creaky Blinder pretty much being into the Brokeback Mountain stuff.
Oh, nice. Okay. I don't know any of these people, so.
Simon Dan is a British YouTuber that debunks all conspiracy theories, including flat Earth. Creaky Blinder does the same thing.
And he was essentially saying the reason why they're saying all this is because they're in bed with each other. They're like fucking like homo-brained, and they're like.
Yeah, Jake Gibson, also known as Jake the Asshole, put them both on blast and called them butt buddies. His words, not mine.
Okay, well, it sounds like a little bit more than butt buddies, right? Or literal butt buddies, maybe. Oh, God. Okay, yeah.
The way he was talking about it, he was acting like they were just wow.
Okay, but so can you see? Do you see? So I've gotten a lot of like that. Oh, you're just being disingenuous. You don't actually. So I didn't communicate. I do regret the video to an extent. I didn't communicate my points well enough. That is for sure. For sure. I should have strayed away more from talking about. I shouldn't have even brought up the fucking. It wasn't even my main point. The Mary Sue shit. I shouldn't even like. I even said like in the video, like she very well could be Mary Sue. Just be consistent about applying that fucking like criticism. But that broke, dude. That broke half of the people that commented. That broke their brains. I shouldn't have. I fucking shouldn't have. My main criticism was he was heavily. Like, Gundam was heavily implying throughout that video that, like, anything woke is just bad writing, that's just so not true. There are a couple examples I didn't bring up.
Which, let me help you out with. Look, what we're considering woke and what we're considering positive representation are not one and one. They are two different things.
I see. That's. I think that's where we disagree. Yeah.
Yeah, but what? But look. Being against woke isn't against. It's not being the kind of things you normally see incels and MGTOWs and NIFB types want to go on about. And oh boy, do I got a thing to say to a lot of those.
Wait. Can I try to summarize what I think you guys are getting at when you say woke? So woke is essentially it's like this unnecessary unnecessarily trying to push for things that are either already solved or just not problems at all in a way that kind of destroys the media.
It does worse than that. It actually sends us back to the way things were around the Jim Crow era of things.
See, I still like going back to the Scully effect, the Uhura effect. It seems
let me just say everything that the woke is doing is undoing all the good things that the Scully effect and Agent Uhura have done before.
No, it's just like taking advantage of those things to break down those societal barriers, and it has helped.
This is what they're doing. They're taking the good things that characters like Agent Scully and Agent Uhura have done for being positive female role models, and twisting it into something that these role models were never meant to be. They're not teaching these. They're just wearing the good things done by those characters being made as a shield against the legitimate criticism that they.
If people are doing that, I don't think that's like super widespread. If people are doing that, yeah, that would be kind of fucky. But it's just like ultimately
that's what Just a Gundam is. What's going up? That's why Just a Gundam was so heated.
I don't know. Here, let me. I disagree that's why it's Gundam. That's where his criticism was coming from. Once again, it was heavily implied, just like the ideas in and of themselves were just like unnecessary to have in the movie, and that they took away from the movie when they don't have to. Even if they did in that case, it's not necessarily like a fundamental problem with the ideas. And also, once again, it's just a continuation of things like the Scully and Uhura effects. Like it really is.
It wasn't a continuation. It was a complete ignoring of that.
No, it's not though. When it comes to
people are doing these things like they do with making characters like Rey, and this current version of Carol Danvers is one. They think that there've never been positive female characters in media, when in reality there have been more than even either one of us can count.
Well, no, it's still like nothing compared to all the amount, like the gigantic amount of just like white guy leads. Like that was a thing for a while. Okay, I'm not saying white guys are evil or anything. All right, I'm not on that fucking boat. But like
I'm not saying that either. But guess what? I'm saying this is someone who isn't white. I'm saying this is someone that is probably that's as minorities you can get, and you can get.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Look, those characters, male or female, they weren't doing that just so the little Caucasian kids out there could only relate to. The way those characters are written, their skin, they were written in a way so the skin color didn't, or and sexual orientation, all those characters didn't matter. It was what it was. It went deeper. That the way those characters were written went deeper, so that anyone who been through what those said characters have been through in their stories can relate to.
No, you would be amazed when it comes to being able to put yourself in other shoes. Like, no, it's just like a fundamental thing with humans. Like, if it looks like you, it's a lot fucking easier. It's hard. I know it's weird. It almost sounds fucking racist, but it's like true to an extent. Yes, yeah, obviously you can like empathize. You can empathize with characters. Like I can empathize with oh my god, black chick from Left 4 Dead 2, whatever the fuck her name is. I can empathize with her experience. Like I can fit myself into her headspace to an extent. But I would map on. It would be a lot easier for me to map on or like relate to somebody that is like more like white guy or whatever. It is easier overall.
Maybe this is something you can better understand. Let's take.
Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick, just people misunderstandings. I want to try to avoid it. It's not just that it's easier. It's also like there are certain experiences those groups have that other groups just don't. Okay, and so like there are certain things that you literally just can't relate to, like in those experiences. Okay, but sorry, go ahead.
Well, anyway, here's something that I'm pretty sure you. For instance, I know where you're coming from because yes, as a black person, I've been through some things that you may not have gone through.
Yeah, well, I would imagine you've actually experienced like legit racism.
I'm giving you an example here. You listen to the way I talk, right? You hear my voice,
yeah,
my speech patterns, the way I express things. I've been through hell by others that are the same skin color as me, who put me through hell because to them, I wasn't black enough for them. I didn't act like a black guy. I didn't behave like a black person. I have got called I only house N word because of that. And frankly, there are many there have been many others with black men and women who've been in the same boat as me, and we don't. And the best representation we've had was our meeting an opportunity to meet other blacks and other minorities that got put through that kind of shit just because we don't meet their expectations.
Right, I can understand that those experiences can actually like be turned against you to an extent. I get that. Like I can relate. I'll just say that I can relate with that story to an extent. Even though you're black and I'm white.
Hey, we get, and that's the thing right there. The two of us, we can relate to each other regardless of our skin color.
Well, yeah, but there's still certain experiences. Like I have no idea, like overall, what it truly is like to have that experience where you're expected to like act like a black person and you get shit on for not doing so. That there are definitely things missing there. Like when I try to imagine it in my brain, I can't fully do it justice, right? Whereas somebody that maps on more to my story, I could, right? That's kind of what I'm saying when it comes to representation. There are things that you just can never know when it comes to certain experiences.
I don't hold that against you. It takes a lot of growth. It's a matter of growth and looking past those the superficial things to get there.
Well, what I'm saying though is like some of those things aren't necessarily superficial. There are genuine experiences that, because of superficial things, like there are non-superficial experiences people go through because of superficial things, if that makes sense.
Exactly. I mean, and when you look past the it's because of superficial things why people treated characters like the Hulk as a monster. And there's a lot of people that can relate to the Hulk who've either one been judged by their appearance or have been through times in their life where they've been put in situations where they get so angry that they want to be left alone.
No, I get. Oh, here, let me draw it back to the specifically woman again. Once again, if you're told that like this group of people that you fall into with these superficial like characteristics or whatever can only really go this way in society. If you're told that over and 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 over again, then representation to show that like having women on the screen, like not doing those things, actually being able to achieve like really awesome things in society, that becomes pretty important to help like break down that societal standard. So like
for that one. Surprisingly enough, the pioneers that did this, that what you're talking about, have gone unheard. But let's just take for instance the people you're talking about. Best described as one Moms Mobley. In her days, she told she couldn't be a performer. Not only because she was a woman, but because she was a black woman.
But she would be exceptional, right, for doing that. She would be an exception to the rule for doing that.
Yeah, but guess what? Because she defied, she ended up inspiring more women and more black people to perform, which led to other performers like LaWanda Page.
Exactly. She helped break down the societal like norms that like make it so that people. Yeah, she's doing what we're doing.
Page and the kid. They further broke down those barriers and expectations. They challenged preconceptions.
So you're essentially saying you're in support of it in a more natural way. You're okay with people being limited.
Things happen naturally, and guess what?
But wait,
as well as LaWanda Page, Joan Rivers, and they all been pushed there. They all allowed more and more women to be performers, actors, comedians, as well as being CEOs, elected officials, etc., etc. The problem is that they don't see any. The problem is they have existed, but they've gone unseen and unheard because there are just people out there that are just either unable to see it, as well as those who have seen it and just don't think too highly of it. Hold that thought. Hello.
Oh. I'll be right back.
Okay. Bye.
Oh shit, that was a short call. No, it's all good. So once again, let me put it. So you think there's just like you think when we try to replicate those successes, sometimes in a more forceful way, it just leads down a bad road.
Not only that, it does all the good that came before it.
But how does it undo the good that came before it?
Well, here's why didn't it happen naturally. One, take the civil rights movement of the 60s. They at that point, it could have gone two ways. And the way done by Dr. King, with his methods, including nonviolent resistant protesting. Then, of course, on the other side, you had people like Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam and their approach, which was just let's just make our own racist supremacy group and get violent with all these white people around us.
Well, I would consider both to be an unnatural push for something in society. A natural change in society happens over like decades. It's very slow. It's almost like geological. Let me finish. Like the civil rights movement, that was a very unnatural push. That was a very intentional push towards a change, right? So that if anything, that would support what I'm talking about.
If we're talking about Malcolm X approach and the Nation of Islam approach, we're in agreement.
No, both are. You're trying to force the situation in an unnatural direction. Naturally, it probably would have. Naturally, like the situation would have remained fucked for African Americans for a little while, right?
Wait a minute. The thing is, Dr. King saw what you're talking about, which is why he didn't use force. Wait.
So wait. Please, I'm sorry. But like, are you saying that it like the only unnatural way you can go about it is like if you're being like forceful with it, like or like there's a force involved?
His approach wasn't he wasn't trying to force people. into doing these things. He was just he wanted to show the ugliness of what was already being forced on to black people.
Dude, no, protests are a
I.e.,
very that's a very once again intentional push for a change. That is not a natural thing. Like that's still like a humans trying to like change the situation in a very intentional way. I would call that unnatural.
hold up. What we're considering natural forces and something being unnatural seems to be a bit of seems to be misunderstood.
Okay, how about this? How about this? How would you? Here, can you give me an
Nature.
example? Yeah, can you give me an example of like a natural change in society versus an unnatural one?
A natural one is to just plant the seed, let it let it grow. If it grows, nurture it, help nurture it to help it grow further, and let what grows bear its fruit.
Yeah, the civil rights movement. I wouldn't consider that to
Was
be just like
Dr.
planting a
King
seed. That
figurative, metaphorically speaking? That's what it was. He was that's there, and if you must know, everything Dr. King was doing was already from the fruits of seeds that were already planted decades prior to what he to him leading
no,
the civil
I
rights movement.
understand more or less the situations that led up to the civil rights movement. It's just like like a nationwide protest. That's not a that's like I would consider a natural change in society to be like just slowly doing something differently bit after bit, time after time until it's like completely different, like a decade down the road. Like no, he pushed hard for immediate change.
Yeah, but
That's not a seed planted. That's a fist in the face of the government.
I think you're mistaking him with Malcolm X.
No, I'm not. No, the only difference between the two is like fucking Malcolm X wanted to like start an ethno state. He wanted like to use violence against white people. But still, like both of them were pushing for immediate change. They both they were calling for like the government to step in and correct the lives of African Americans. It wasn't a seed that would grow over time. It was a present. This needs to stop thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, Dr. King was this the thing he was Dr. King was fighting against predates him before he was even born.
Wait, no, you can say that. You can say that about literally. You can say that about literally any political movement.
Let me finish. The thing is, he was just picking up where those before him have left off.
Dude, that's true for every political movement ever.
Natural course, he was doing what was happening. He was following the natural flow of the situation.
No, that's literally
him to be able to be able to build up from all the good that was done by those before him to lead to the whole nation hearing and seeing what needed to be done to change things for the better.
Dude,
it all happened naturally. While what Malcolm X wanted during his earlier days of his attempt at change was more forceful and would create more division and more hatred between people based on skin color.
It seems
other things.
Okay, so no, first off, like I've been trying to say, every political movement, every political push, including this woke stuff, has deep fucking roots. It doesn't just pop out of fucking nowhere. So that is meaningless when it comes to what we're talking about. But no. Secondly, force has nothing to do with whether or not it's like a natural change. You can do peaceful protests to push for an unnatural change in society. Like an unnatural change in society would be like pushing it in a direction it was not already going in. I would say that's what happened during the civil rights movement, because once again, if things were left to if society was left to its own devices, just like go on as it was before, then the situation would not wouldn't have improved so quickly for black people. Like they were pushing for immediate change. It was unnatural.
Back then, the entire nation could have chosen to ignore Dr. King and the
no, you could, because there were nationwide protests. You can't ignore that. No, they couldn't. No, you can't ignore that shit, dude. But you should know this, dude, with the BLM riots. You can't ignore that shit.
Black people back then, they could have just they could have dropped the hammer down and just nipped everything in the bud and just screwed black people over even a lot more, but they choose not to.
Well, I actually think, I mean, didn't they try? Didn't I mean, like you've seen the picture of the fucking like water hoses, you know, like black people getting sprayed in the streets. There was definitely resistance.
My family members were in that shit, and I'm letting you know what they let me know.
Wait, the nation was just perfectly accepting of like that? No, they weren't. What? It was no. What? Oh my god, no, it was not.
The parts of the nation that were against the states that had the Jim Crow laws
But if it was so easy, why were they pushing? But if it was so easy, why were they pushing so hard for so long? Like, wait, no,
there
like
there were politicians that wanted the Jim Crow laws to stay.
Oh, we're back to this. No, dude, if the politicians are saying that, there's probably a big group of people that is also saying that. Representatives have to represent their base to an extent. It's a representative democracy. That's how it works.
The people that were in the states that wanted the Jim Crow laws. While they were in trust, and at that time, this led to a division in Washington. This led to a division in. This was a division in Washington, and frankly, by the grace of God, the people that wanted to keep the Jim Crow laws over time, due to all the things that the nation was getting a look at, thanks to the actions of Dr. King not being forceful, but being natural and peaceful, and just letting it be seen.
So once again, you're still equating like peaceful with like natural for some reason. I don't agree with that at all. There can be very violent natural things and very peaceful unnatural things. I think that's obvious.
Yeah, but the thing is, Dr. King didn't force people to integrate.
Wait, and also, dude, I literally, the first Google search I have shows that violence persisted through mass arrests, jail beatings, lynchings, and church bombings. This was nationally, just like nationwide. Most people were like, cool with this.
And look what happened to the people that did that shit. They got seen as the monsters. They got seen
through time. Looking back on it, yes, through time we see it that way. They did not at the.
A lot sooner than that.
Oh no! Okay, think about how Republicans reacted to the BLM movement, dude. That's how a lot of people reacted to the civil rights movement, except a lot more violently.
Now that's where you really.
Oh no! Don't tell me you're like against BLM.
No, you listen here right now. I'm saying this. Oh my god!
Okay, wait. Let's tone it down. I'll let you speak. I'll let you speak. Just tone it down a little bit. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down. Okay. Go ahead.
You're spitting. First of all, comparing the civil rights movement of the '60s to the BLM movement. The BLM movement is not only spitting in the face of my grandparents who marched.
It's a continuation of Martin Luther's dream.
It was not his dream. My grandmother, who I do not agree with on many things, but we agreed on this much, on what Dr. King was about in his dream. And I further looked into Dr. King's writings, preachings, and everything he fought for. Hold that thought. It's my mother. Give me a second.
No problem. Whew. Oh, man. Maybe I should avoid talking race stuff. Jesus. Oh, okay. Do we have like anybody watching right now? Oh, we do. Hello. How you guys doing? I'm right about the civil rights movement, by the way. Okay, I'm 100% right. BLM is we'll get into it more. It all comes down to whether or not you believe institutional racism is a thing. That's pretty much it. It is a thing, by the way. There's no like fucking like evil white guy pulling the levers of it. It's just like there's certain laws that are put in place and certain ways of enforcing those laws that do negatively impact black people to like way more of an extent than they reasonably should. It is BLM's a continuation for sure. I'll hold my tongue until he gets back. I grasp my pearls, dude. It's mind blowing that people. The BLM movement is a continuation of the civil rights movement. It's almost like a one for one. Things are better nowadays for black people, but it's less violent. But like, Jesus Christ, guys, are you kidding me? You guys are gonna be the ones that people look back on and think are fucking evil. You're gonna be the ones. You understand that, right? I know. You're the ones he's talking about. Kill me. I clutch my pearls. Ooh. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Oh my god. I shouldn't. There are only 2 fucking chatters right now. I should not fucking look. Anybody that just fucking jumped in, dude, it started off as like a representation in media conversation is gone all over the place. Right now we're on whether or not the BLM movement is like comparable to the civil rights movement. And there's hard. Do we agree way more on representation in media than we do about black people? It looks so bad because I'm a white guy talking about like saying a black person's wrong about black people. But dude, I am. He's fucking wrong about it. All right. Once again, I will hold my tongue on any further points until he gets back. Oh shit. Yeah, it's read Ted Kaczynski. Sure. Well, actually, if you don't want to. No, because I want it's well, it's not even a debate really. It's more like a conversation where we're finding out like but do you think I have to read chat if I live stream or what? I have no idea what the fuck you're trying to say. I honestly don't. Now I've been ignoring you guys for like most of this conversation. Yeah, that's not really my main focus. It's the conversation I'm having because fucking duh. Oh, fuck. Oh. Well, this has been interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I will say, me and or Zeo. Zeo and I seem to agree more than we disagree. But oh man, we tried to touch on slavery and the Jim Crow era. That didn't go very well. And now we're talking about the civil rights, but that's not going very well. I don't even know. I gotta end this soon too, but I want to try to conclude this. Yeah, and I think next time I'm gonna try to have more rails on the conversation. It was fun just going like wherever, but we did have a specific aim for this discussion, right? Like representation in media, and there's definitely.
Anyway.
Oh, hello, God, hi. Okay, what's your problem with BLM?
Look, first of all, their goals and everything they believe in when it gets spit in the face of Dr. King's beliefs.
Okay, let's start there. Wait, no, let's start there. How? What have they done to spit in the face of Martin Luther?
They want to do things that want to bring back segregation. I am not making this up.
No, I'm part of the party that supports BLM the most. There might be a few fucking weirdo. I have never heard about people talking about bringing back segregation. That's highly frowned on, dude.
Well, your chapter they must not be talking to your chapter of BLM in your region, because this is the first time they did something like this to other chapters. Because I know another BLM chapter who and I kid you not, this happened around 2015. A BLM chapter in Ohio did something that should be praised and respected. They sat down and talked with the local law enforcement of that town for better relationships for all people there, blacks, Hispanics, all ethnic groups, and to have as well as all people of all skin colors to have better relationships and better communications and understanding with the people who were part of the police force in that area, and they did, and it grew into something positive. People, the members of that BLM chapter were becoming friends with the local cops. They were doing more things for the community there, which made people better trust the cops and help them deal with crime in that area. Crime dropped.
Okay. I believe it. Do you think the majority?
But I'm not finished.
Wait, no, but I just like I can't.
Oh, there's more to it.
Okay, quickly.
While this was happening, to wrap it up, the other chapters of BLM, including the founding members, heard of this and just cut all ties with that chapter in Ohio and just disregarded them.
I do. Well, okay, I want to just touch on a couple things. I'm not sure about specific examples, and I don't want to sit here reading stuff again like we did with the book stuff. Wait. Yeah, you had your chance. You had your chance. Okay. Do you believe in institutional racism?
Hold up.
Do you believe that's a thing?
Not in the way it was compared 50 years ago.
Oh, no, I agree. It was worse. It was a lot worse. I agree. Yes. But there's still problems.
Ones that can be more, problems that can be addressed with easier and a lot more practical a way than they had to be back in the 60s. Kind of like I said, like I noted, that respectable former chapter of BLM in Ohio. That's how they addressed it.
Okay, so
one of the best ways to address that.
I almost guarantee you that is not even close to the only example of BLM trying to do something like that. I know you're referring to like the majority. Wait, also, how peaceful do you think the BLM protests were overall?
If you're talking about what happened in the 2000s,
just overall, just broadly, overall.
That was a riot.
Overall, no, just overall. I'm talking about overall. Just overall, was the BLM movement peaceful or not?
Overall,
or give me a percentage. Give me a percentage, like fucking 10% peaceful, 90% peaceful.
I say roughly 15% peaceful.
Dude, no, I no. All of those 97. No. This is a fact, dude. 97% of those protests were completely peaceful. Look it up.
And those citations came from highly biased
sources.
Oh
no, you can't do it. You can't start denying fucking facts. You can't. Dude, wait. Prove it. No. How about this? Prove it.
Fact have been proven to be biased as fuck.
No, you prove that like the information about the fucking protest is like completely fucking corrupt. You have to show that to me.
See, every time some bunch of BLM protesters come around, they pretty much anything that looked like somebody wearing something that so much looked like a blue uniform, they got ready to start swinging. Not to mention how they have been caught on record saying that they should just go into just looking and just get violent as hell.
Wait, okay, so not only are like the sources you're talking about corrupt, but literally everything I am looking at on my screen right now, all of these people are entirely corrupt because they're saying that the overwhelming majority of the protests were peaceful. They're all literally everything's corrupt.
None of them want to be peaceful.
Wait, but
those people are also saying that any violent things done by those protesters, and frankly, the second they get violent, they stop being protesters, was justified. When on the other hand, it was never justified.
Well,
if they wanted to protest, they should have just protested. They should have not raised their hands to anybody.
They did just protest. They did just protest, dude.
They tore shit up.
There were some, dude, but you can say the same thing about the civil rights movement. There were some examples of protests turning into riots.
Yeah,
the civil rights movement. No, so the civil rights movement was also fucked in your mind.
But in the 60s, who were the ones initiating the violence? It wasn't.
Wait, are you saying every single one of those protests that turned to riots that was entirely on the police? That was 100%. Not they were all super respectful.
It was a random man-minded bigoted people who were against seeing everything Dr. King was doing.
Okay, so none of those people protesting in the civil rights movement, those never turned into unjustified riots. That never started with the protesters just getting a little fucking wild. That never happened, not once.
Not in Dr. King's camp. Malcolm X.
No, that's just a fundamental misunderstanding of how protests work. There's a small when it comes to protesting anything, this is bound to happen at some point if it's widespread enough.
Protesting and rioting.
No, I know. I'm saying that protests are bound to turn into riots if the protests are widespread enough, if it happens enough. Usually it doesn't happen that much, but it will still happen. Dude, the majority, no. What?
If you like one for ones, I'll give you one to ones. If you look at the nationwide protest done by Dr. King and compare them to what was being done nationwide by BLM, you can clearly see which one is the greater force of good out there and which one is just destroying everything good around it and making things worse for everyone around it.
Let's hold it right there. Fuck. I gotta wait. I'm trying to figure out how often the civil rights movement protests turned into riots. Civil rights movement. Let's check this. But no, so yeah, it's just like, it's amazing to me that you wrote off, like, I just, like, quick Google search, and like all of them are saying that it's like 90% or more were like peaceful. You're just like, you're essentially, yes, the BLM protests, like, so all of those people, the New York Times, the Guardian, fucking all the different studies I saw, like, they're all just...
I know you didn't just say the Guardian. That is, you should be very skeptical of the Guardian. I don't know. This
literally is not even my point. That's not even my point. It's okay. Times Magazine. Times Magazine. ACLED. Quora, the New York Times, the Christian Science Monitor, Washington Post, CNN, now the Washington Post, the Guardian, the Belfer Center for Science and International Affairs, AP News, National Institutes, they're all fucking saying what I'm saying. I mean, they're all corrupt.
You know how many of them will pretty much say anything that makes anything that appears a little bit left-leaning look as good as possible. Well, anything else that...
This is a mishmash. I got a mishmash of fucking like leanings here. USA Today, Michigan Advanced, WSHU. All of these are just like liberal shill institutions. Is that
all like far left institutions?
NBC? NBC's like far left?
Partisan. NBC is partisan as hell. They will always give anything that appears left wing as them. They will trust them.
Oh, what about the Hill, dude? They're conservative, aren't they? They're saying the same thing.
Yeesh.
No, literally. No. My point is literally everything I'm seeing here. That like the first things that are popping up are all like talking about how peaceful the protests were. You're saying everybody's lying. You're saying everybody's lying.
Hold on. Let me just dig this a little deeper. How many of them are quoting other outlets that you've already listed?
I would have to like dig through fucking. Do you want me to dig through 20 different fucking articles right now?
No.
Is that?
I'm just saying a lot of them are quoting each other. They're using each other as sources.
Okay, so it's not corruption. It's a weird news feedback loop. But you have no proof of that either.
You know how many other outlets who will just quote another outlet because that outlet is on their favorite.
Wait, so why weren't you, when I was looking up those books, why weren't you saying the same thing about the stuff I was reading then? Why only now?
Because I looked them up myself.
Wait, so you
not just that, I had to make sure that these people weren't just saying things that I agree with. And believe me, there was a lot of the people that were pointing this out, they have I more than say 52% of things that I completely disagree with.
Okay, so you're saying no. Well, first off, just because there are things that you disagree with in an article, that has nothing to do with the legitimacy of the article. That it has nothing to that says nothing about the legitimacy of an article. I'm just saying. But also, once again, literally everything that pops up is about how peaceful the protests were. You can't write all that up.
I got some bad.
No. I don't believe it's literally right in front of my face. All of them are agreeing with me. What am I supposed to believe? Literally everybody else, or the one guy that's saying they're all fucking frauds? You have no evidence.
I'm saying they just quoting each other here.
Yeah, so it's fraudulent fucking news. They're reporting on fraudulent bullshit. Yeah, they didn't do their fucking, they didn't check their facts. They didn't do any of the fucking groundwork, but you have no proof. You have no proof. You have no... So you're saying not one of these people, even literally research institutions that I'm talking about, there are some research institutions. None of them did research. They just started quoting each other. Is that really what you're saying? You know this sounds ridiculous. I know you know this sounds ridiculous. Please, like you've been so reasonable up to this point.
I'm just trying to explain it to you that a lot of those names you listed that saying this.
I can list more if you want. University of Connecticut, are they just fucked? Texas Public Radio. Oh, they're talking actually about how it turned violent. Never mind.
Okay. Anyway.
Actually, fuck.
Right there. See right there, and look.
Wait, yeah, but wait, that doesn't prove anything. That doesn't prove anything. That doesn't prove it. You can't say C right there once I find one thing that agrees with you. You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing.
I'm not trying to do anything. Let me finish. So, first you listed the Guardian, CNN. Guess what? And the Washington Post, the New York Post.
I can list more.
You know what they do? You know what they do?
They're all fucking liars and shills, right?
No, they quote each other out of blind favoritism.
Dude, do you know how Rex news organizations get when they just blindly quote shit? They have teams to verify this shit.
They do this out of blind favoritism.
No, they don't.
They care more about political.
There's bias.
Than they do.
There is bias, I agree, but not to nearly to the extent you're talking about. You're saying literally, dude, just almost everything I see is talking about.
I'll go there. I will go there. CNN, New York Post, Slate, Vice, Vox, hell.
Dude, literally, no, I'm talking okay. I can only list the institutions and colleges that did research on this if you'd like.
Listing things too that are covering the same things that are saying the same thing about these protests.
Okay, but I'm saying move. Let's move on.
And guess what? You know what they're doing? They're quoting each other. The ones I listed,
dude, it's just you.
Of course, the ones I listed, and they do this back and forth over the same things.
This is a conspiracy theory.
Nothing more. I am not doing this out of conspiracy theory.
This is a conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy theory, dude. It's the consensus is these were 90%. No, the consensus is 90% and more of these protests were completely peaceful.
I've seen what they do with these things.
Dude, I just think it's hilarious how you had no problem with my research before we started talking about something you disagree with. I think that's. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to highlight that.
Why it's looking the way it's looking. Because
no, you're not explaining it. You're literally just saying they're all fucking liars or they're too stupid to do research. You have no proof. You have no proof.
I'm saying that they're doing that. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they're being stupid. I'm saying that I'm just saying that.
No, I would call it if a news organization is just parroting another news organization. That's stupid. I would call that very stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. I know it's stupid, but
that's not what they're doing.
The sad thing is that there's a lot of people in charge of journalist outlets that do that thing and will gladly do it. Their integrity be damned.
Wait, so, okay, what could I, what if I read through, a research institution's findings? Would you trust that, or is that also, fucked?
Look.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. No, that's what I...
It's not a matter of the... Look, the ones you...
No, you're just never going to believe this.
Have a bad reputation. It's their reputation, all right?
Wait, no, okay, have you heard of... Okay, what about the reputation of... Oh, fuck. The University of Connecticut, how do you feel about their reputation?
I don't...
You don't know.
I've never seen anything else covered by them before. I would have to look into them I would have to look into them.
Wait, so you do that for all of your sources? You thoroughly vet them before believing a word they say? I don't believe that. No one does that, dude. No one does that.
Fishy. That's just the kind of person I am. When I think something's a little out of sort or something's not right about something, I'm hearing about something, it's good. You can call it my act of quieting my conscience.
So wait, what? How does the Organization of American Historians ring to you? Does that? I could look up more as well if you'd like.
I'll look into it myself. You don't have to do any legwork for me.
I
can't ask that of you.
No, do you know how ridiculous it is to like going from being fine to the stuff I'm looking up to all of a sudden literally every single article that popped up in my feed is fucking like either stupid or corrupt? Do you understand how insane that sounds?
Look, some of them are corrupt, especially like CNN and The Guardian.
Okay, all of them though, if they're all saying the same thing.
Some of these people will quote them and trust.
Okay,
have more trust in The Guardian and CNN because The Guardian and CNN are on the same side as them. They do that out of an act of blind favoritism.
Okay, let's say 30% of them did what you just described. What about the other 60% that didn't? Okay, what about the 60% that didn't that are also saying what they were saying? That 90% of the protests were peaceful.
I would have to look into other articles.
Literally all of them? You vet? How much vetting do you do?
I would have to look to see if one, if they made a follow up to what they said to see if they say that they made a mistake here or there or not, or if they do something like just quote the same guy, the same article again and again.
Okay.
Now, if a news outlet prints a retraction about something they made a mistake to, I'll give them credit where credit's due, regardless of if they're a news outlet that prefers that leans left or leans right. I haven't met an outlet that leans
hold on.
I don't think that exists.
News Hub. I'm trying to check. I'm trying to look at the sources for News Hub. I don't know how you feel about those guys. I'm gonna see if I can find what they're quoting here, or like where they're getting their info from. Just, oh my god, it's just a ton of ads for bullshit. Oh, just kill me. Just fucking kill me. Oh, just give me a blue link. Morning console poll. Okay, so some of the information these guys got their stuff from was the morning consult poll. So literal poll done to see. That despite the report's overwhelming peaceful findings, the recent morning found many people continue to believe the BLM protests are largely violent. So they're talking about perception. And they got it from a poll, like people's perception of the protests. What else? What else do we have? God damn it! Where are the?
Look, the thing is about the BLM movement in general. They haven't really been doing anyone in the black community any beneficial things, in spite of all the donations they get from other people in the black community, in spite of all the help they get from other people, black, white, Hispanic, otherwise. The BLM movement haven't been helping the black community. They've been hurting us, and they've been doing things that have been sending relationships between whites and minorities back over 50 years.
I'm sure you've heard of this example of institutional racism, but just to lay it out, there's the difference in charges between crack and cocaine. They're basically the same fucking drug, but one's charged more heavily crack than the other cocaine. But turns out one's also used more by African Americans, crack, right? Versus cocaine's more like a rich white guy fucking thing. So how do you explain that discrepancy? Isn't it good to try to get rid of that?
First of all, scientifically speaking, cocaine is
no, dude. They're like the same drug. They're like the same fucking drug. They are.
One is derived from plants. The one is more synthetic.
No, I don't think that's true. We can look it up if you'd like. But like, still, even if it was synthetic versus non-synthetic, how does that weigh on? Like, if they have the same effect, how does that weigh on anything?
If you must know, crack is more, considering what crack is made of and the chemicals used to make it, are more taxing and deadly on the human body.
Okay, no, I'm fact checking. Hold on, crack versus cocaine chemical makeup. Coca leaves. They're both made from coca leaves. Have been used as a stimulant. Like it seems like they're made from the same fucking thing. I don't even.
Look what else is in crack compared to.
Wait, what else is in crack versus cocaine? It sounds like you're knowledgeable.
the kind of stuff you'd see.
Well, no, tell me the kind of stuff. No, because you're putting a claim forward. You're saying there are things in crack that are worse than cocaine. What are those things?
You know,
See, no, you're not.
No, I'm trying to explain this.
No, tell me the chemicals. Tell me the chemicals, or else I'm just gonna assume you pulled this out of your ass. You have no idea what you're talking about.
The same chemicals you see in things that are used in powdered all-purpose cleaners. They do that shit. That's one of the ways that they could spread. That's one of the chemicals they use in making crack.
I'm not seeing. I have no. Do you think that like they pour bleach all over the crack before selling it to people or something? What?
They use chemicals that are used as all-purpose cleaners
to make it, to synthesize it. That's a much different thing, and also you're not going to end up with those chemicals at the end necessarily.
The end result is more dangerous.
No, God. Well, they're both insane. They're both. No, you're not. You're pulling crap out of your ass. Hold on.
I'm not making this up.
You couldn't tell me one chemical. You couldn't name one fucking chemical in crack, and you said there's a bunch of different bad chemicals in crack. It seems like you've never actually looked this up in your life.
I have.
But then what's the chemical formula? What chemicals? Tell me the actual chemicals then. You've looked this up. You've literally just no. You're looking it up now. You're looking it up.
I'm trying to remember the name.
Dude, no, you understand my frustration here, right? You're acting like you know all of this, but it seems like you have to do research.
No, I just have a hard time.
You have to Google it. You have to Google it in order to.
I have a hard time remembering some of these things. Give me a break. I remembered what happened in
okay, hold on.
chapter.
Crack chemical formula is carbon 17, hydrogen 2, or 21, then fucking nitrous oxide 4. And then we have cocaine. C17H21, and it's literally the same chemical. It is chemically exactly the same. Do you see why I'm frustrated right now?
I know the difference.
There's no difference! They are literally chemically the same product. I literally just looked it up. Unless they're lying to me.
There's a reason why one is more expensive than the other.
Do you understand? No. Do you understand? If the chemical makeup is the same, they are the same thing. That's how chemical makeup works. Dude, you have to give this one to me. Otherwise, I'm just going to write you off as being disingenuous. I like...
All right. I will, because I currently can't explain it better than I can right now.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, chemically speaking, it's like you're trying to call a chunk of iron and a chunk of iron two different things. They are chemically exactly the same. You understand that, right? There's no difference.
For the sake of the discussion, I'll give you that one.
Okay.
Because I can't properly explain why crack and cocaine, what makes crack and cocaine differently, and why one is sold at a different price than the other.
Okay. So real quick as well.
The way crack is produced made it easier to be spread, easier to distribute and spread among the black community.
So real quick, I just want to say, I'm not good. I'm a really passionate guy. I get worked up, and when I'm doing that, I'm not like actually mad at you or anything. I just want to make that clear. So far, I've really enjoyed our conversation. Okay, I don't hold any of this against you as a person or anything. I just want to.
I know that.
Okay, I just want to make that absolutely clear. Yeah, you seem like a cool guy, and this has been fun. But
I'm just forgetful.
But so if we can agree that like chemically speaking, they're the same thing, but they have different charges tacked onto them, and crack is used more in the black community than it is the white community. Like cocaine's the white person thing, right? We should get rid of that discrepancy there, right? It seems like an unfair law.
You know, not only that, and there's a reason why it was used more in the black community.
Yeah, I know. It was spread by the CIA or whatever. Like, yeah,
not that. I don't believe in the CIA. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they released documents saying they actually did that. But no, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Anyway, the thing is, like I said, it's cheaper and easier to produce crack en masse than to turn coca leaves into powdered cocaine.
There might be a slightly different process involved with making it. There is a big difference in price. I acknowledge that, but like chemically, you end up with the same thing. That's so. At the end of the day, they are like they're the same thing. Maybe different process, but like it's like saying just because you. God, let me think of an analogy. Let's say you walk like this way to get to the store, right? And then the next day you walk this way to get to the store. Like the store doesn't change. Like the end goal has not changed. How you got there might have been different, but like what you end up with is exactly the same. It's not a different store, right? Like so.
Okay, but there was a reason why crack would, but considering the process they used to make crack, I don't know how, but it did just really tore up people a lot faster than cocaine ever did to people that just only did straight up cocaine.
Well, I think it's just because of the prevalence. Once again, I'm pretty sure you're right. Crack is cheaper for some reason. I think that just has to do with the prevalence. Cocaine would also fuck up communities if it was like more accessible.
Not just community. I mean, just the way it just messes a person's body up.
Well, no, cocaine does a very similar thing. Well, I mean, they're both cocaine. They're just like different like forms of cocaine, essentially.
I just think that crack has just did it into a human body faster than cocaine did.
I don't even know if that's true. Like crack addiction and cocaine addiction both seem to be absolutely just like they can destroy people. But overall, so assuming they're basically the same fucking thing, we can agree that a discrepancy.
Yeah, they do the same thing. They give it the same euphoric feeling.
But you can't. No, I'm sorry. You can't fit it. They have a different chemical like affecting your body because like the formula seems to be identical. So like they wouldn't in that case. Your body would literally process them like pretty much the exact same way. Maybe how your form of ingestment is different. How you ingest it is different, and that might lead to slightly different effects or like slightly different absorption rates. But like overall, you are consuming the same thing. So like if
look at my man using variables. Look at my man breaking up variables. I'm proud of you.
But what I'm saying is, if they're basically the same, which you conceded in a way that was like you're not entirely sure how to argue your point. I understand it's not like a full, but if we're working in that framework, they are the same thing. Then we can agree that discrepancy in how people are punished is wrong, right? That shouldn't exist.
Oh, yeah. I saw one of the considering the time and era that cocaine was prevalent in the way it was, as well as compared to how crack was around the same time. One of the reasons why people who got caught using, if not distributing coke, got off easier than people who were using crack. Yeah, black people get harsher sentences back in those days compared to other races. But they also got to factor in that
I think this was a relatively recent law, by the way, or thing. It was in the legal system.
I was thinking of the preface of the mid '80s and early '90s. My bad.
No, it's just like overall. My point is like if we see discrepancies in how people are being charged or how like laws are being enforced between like black and white communities. Yeah,
just like the sentencing gap.
For
instance, this is from a study from the University of Michigan.
Okay. I'm listening.
Okay, if I remember correctly, with the University of Michigan's report on the sentencing gap, this covered 4 demographics: the number of arrests of black men, the number of arrests of black women, arrests of white women, and the arrests of white men. For some reason, the number of arrests of black women are oddly the same as the number of arrests for white men, while white women have the lowest number of arrests, while black men have the highest.
Where are you leading with this exactly?
Well, there is something to be evolved by this, some kind of favoritism towards the court system seem to see the favor in their personal preconception, that let their personal preconceptions of each of those demographics determine how harsh a punishment they give persons that fit one of those that are in one of those demographics.
Yeah, well, no, it's also like uber fucked. Well, I'm not sure if they might have. I can't think of a per capita. Did they do it like per capita? Did they like fucking? There are a lot fewer black people, so if it's like roughly the same for white people and black people, that's insane, right? But it seems like it'd be insane anyway. Yeah, okay.
The University of Michigan was talking per capita.
But
For some reason, a white woman will get a much lighter sentence than a black woman, and definitely a lot less harsh sentence than a black man.
Right. And so yeah, those things are obviously like there's something weird going on there. You either have to write off black people and say like, oh, they just have like the warrior gene. I like that weird, like, I think that's out of date. That's a bit old fashioned for like the super far right people to talk about the warrior gene or whatever. But you either have to say it's like a biological thing or a societal thing.
Honestly, I haven't. It's been, I think, over 20 years since I heard of anyone a blatant right winger just bring up that argument.
Yeah, it's just like essentially in order to explain these things, you either have to go the biological route or the societal route, and it's obviously the societal route. Like if you leave like a community of people, like a group of people impoverished, like you make it impossible for them for a large portion of the history in their this country, make it impossible for them to like gather up wealth. Then yeah, of course, like the poorer you are, the more likely you are to like make desperate decisions, desperate choices. Like the more that stuff's forced on you, the more likely you are to see that stuff. So it has more to do with the like societal bullshit that's going on, the situations black communities find themselves in more typically than a white community or a white person would, right? It has, that's what BLM stands against. I know maybe you've heard some like BLM supporters that are like just fucking freaking out, wigging out about saying crazy crap like abolish the police and all that, but that's my understanding as the majority of people, that's what they're pushing back against, that unfairness there.
But thing is, I'm not going against the majority here. I'm going against the leading voices.
Well, I would even say
you can be the leading voice without being the majority.
You know, how about this, dude? I'll become the leading voice, okay? And then you'll stop hearing all the insane bullshit. How about that?
Now, wait a minute. You've got a ways to go before you can be...
No, I'm already king. I'm already top of the world. Fuck yeah.
Look. I got suspicious of the founders of the BLM movement, and I had to do a little help with some others who were just as curious about them as I was. Oh brother, I got shocked, if not terrified, by some of the stuff that I came across.
And I'm shocked and terrified by like a lot of things I hear from like independents or conservatives.
No. For instance, they have more. The founding members of the BLM movement admitted it.
Oh, there's that. No, sorry.
They admitted at a sit down. I was let's see, what's the word for it? It's not conference. It's more like a. Anyway, they were talking to a lot of other protesters and journalists at the time. They said that they say they have more in common with Ashada Shakur and Louis Farrakhan. If you don't know who those are, oh boy.
I don't, but also like there's like just one thing that it's not like the civil rights movement. There's no like leader or anything. This is all very just like I can't think of the word.
The fact that they prefer doing things and that would be more approved by people like Ashada Shakur and Louis Farrakhan should let you know that they don't want to bring unity or do it or carry on Dr. King's message.
I would just completely disagree. That it sounds like violence. That's what you're talking about. It once again, like you haven't been able to show me. You haven't been able.
They want division.
Well, you haven't been able to show me that that's like a widespread belief, like when it comes to the protests, because once again, those were all, the majority of them, like the vast majority, were peaceful. And if you want to prove that wrong, you're gonna have to. I don't even know how you start.
Look, you act like I'm saying that there were no chapters out there that were being peaceful. I am not ignoring them. I'm not denying.
No, but you're downplaying them hardcore. You're saying you said 15%. Where the reality is over 90%. The reality is over 90% of protests were incredibly peaceful. Not very many protests turned into riots. So it seems like a lot of people don't hold that belief of like violence and separation.
Okay, give me a second, because you're not the only passionate one here. Let me catch my breath. Why do I feel like we are... How is it you're the jogger and I feel like I'm running a marathon?
I'm a hard one to talk to.
Anyway, look, to all the chapters of BLM that chose to be nonviolent and to express their issue with, believe me, the messed up things done by the police, the law enforcement institution, and oh brother, do I got problems with that institution. I can't stand corruption, period, and I've seen my fair share of it, in a lot of institutions, and I hated the fact that each time I witnessed it, I was just too young and just had no real influence to do something about it on my own. And my conscience kicks me in the butt about it at every opportunity. The point is, the leaders of the movement did not give any credit to any of the chapters of BLM that were doing positive things for the Black community, as well as to make better relationships with the actual good cops out there that also wanted to help the communities that they all lived in together be better than they were when they each respectively came across them. You know what they did to those chapters? They got disregarded, and soon after, if you look on Black Twitter, you can see thread after thread where a lot of those said chapters that took the approach that deserves to be praised and given credit to get called Uncle Toms, coons, and a lot of things that will violate TOS if I repeat them.
Right, and I hear. I'm sorry. I also have to end this soon.
Yeah, I understand.
We've been going for like 2 hours. Yeah.
You're right. We could. You know what? We should just reschedule for a different.
Oh, 3 hours. Yeah. We can try the representation debate again if you want. I just enjoy talking to you. So like, yeah, I'm open to talking again. But like, just. Yeah, I'm not even going to say more about the BLM. Like, my thoughts are clear. Your thoughts are clear. I think here. It's been really nice talking to you, dude.
The chapters that I respected have got treated like dirt, if not kicked out of got cut off by the rest of BLM.
I would just have to look into it more. I'm not sure about specific examples. It's just like when you look at the majority of protests, the majority of things being said when it comes to like BLM, it's all been really peaceful and like relatively unified. So I just that's just not what I've seen at all. I don't. But here we can talk about it more next time if you want. But
we'll bring up representation at a later live stream.
Okay. Well, it also seems like with that we're kind of in agreement, but you're still a little more like they're forcing it too much, which I can maybe kind of see. But at the same time, there's a lot of benefits and these things can be written well. I was going to bring up Michael Crichton too. The guy is fucking well known for having like strong female characters in his books. It's like a beautiful example of like a strong female representation. But
Michael Crichton, comic book artist.
No, Jurassic Park guy. He wrote the book that got turned into a movie.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome. That's why I heard the name. I love Jurassic Park.
Yeah, no, it's a great book. So much better than the movie. But books are always better than the movies. But
the one thing but to be fair to the movie, there's one line in that movie that I can actually I can back, and it was said by Jeff Goldblum's character. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Okay, look, he was talking about science in general. Okay, it was a fucking wording for scientists in our use of like new breakthroughs and stuff. Okay, you cannot apply that. You cannot steal my Michael Crichton. I actually think he was on the conservative side of things more, but it's still.
I wasn't talking about Crichton. I was talking about one of his characters.
Well, no, I know Ian Malcolm's like a mouthpiece in that book. He's like Michael Crichton's mouthpiece. Like pretty much everything Ian Malcolm says is almost like a 1-for-1 for what Michael Crichton believes about the world.
Funny enough, I thought the man that created the park was Crichton's mouthpiece.
Oh no! John Hammond was like the fucking clueless man that like let fucking money and stuff like cloud his judgment. Yeah.
Sure, he wasn't his mouthpiece.
No, I'm positive. John Hammond was he was, if there's any bad guy in that movie, it was John Hammond. But no, Ian Malcolm's like Michael Crichton's mouthpiece. And dude, oh, by the way, I recommend to anybody watching. I'm not sure how many people are watching this point, but like seriously, Michael Crichton, awesome author. Read like fucking Prey, Sphere, Jurassic Park, Lost World, fucking Next. That was like his final book, and it's cool. It's like this mishmash of all his different stories put into one. It's awesome. And Michael Crichton is like one of my favorite authors.
Huh? Didn't he die of cancer?
He might have. He definitely. Yeah, I think he died sometime in
2003.
Yeah, sometime in the early 2000s. That sounds right. But anyways, I gotta end it there. It was awesome talking to you, dude. And
yeah, we should do this again. Are you free next week?
Yeah, we can do it next weekend. That should work.
Yeah.
All right,
I like this, and I'm this could be a thing.
Yeah, it could be. Well, once again, I just want to talk to people more, have like more conversations / debates. I'm going to be doing it, I think, over socialism as well. Maybe tomorrow. I hope tomorrow. That's what I'm shooting for, but we'll see. Yeah.
For the record on that subject, since I'm a moderate, I favor the fact that there's some things that are best handled by the market, while other things are best handled by the government.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much like, I mean, I would imagine we might have some nitpicks when it comes to that, but I would overall agree as well. The market should be left alone to do as it does until it runs into problems, until it starts like that profit motive starts fucking with shit, or like inelastic markets come up, market failures come up, then the government should step in and handle it themselves. Yes, that's exactly how it should work. And socialism and communism, it has been fucking tried. Okay, they've done the revolutions. Yeah, they've done the revolutions. They've tried to incorporate like fucking Marxist Leninist ideas.
I have aunts and uncles that had to leave communist countries because things were getting real bad, and they had to find a way to get to America as soon as possible because oh boy.
Yeah, I see exactly, dude. No, you would be amazed. Like the It's a Gundam fans, I've been getting a lot of shit from that community, but I also got a shit ton of shit from the socialists and communists. Oh man, that was another fight in and of itself.
I feel sorry for you.
No, it was actually fun. They're actually, I will say, they're way more well spoken than the majority of the It's a Gundam fans I fucking dealt with.
That ain't saying much.
Yeah, that's fair. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I think
we'll bring this up next weekend.
Yeah, we can talk about it more. Yeah, you can maybe like watch like one of my fucking debates or whatever, and if you have ideas, you can fucking throw them at me. But anyways,
because like I said, it's the whole thing I was trying to bring up in the comments that I left in your comment section that went to all this. You can make what we are calling woke. It's not the same thing as what you think is woke.
Well, the thing is, it's just like woke encompasses a bunch of ideas that have been in media for a long time and that have proven to help. So I would.
Yeah, but that's just the thing. You have an idea of what you're considering woke, and what people are fighting against that is being called woke are not one-to-one similar things.
No, I'm trying to nitpick your guys' definition of it. Essentially, I agree. We are definitely saying different things when I say woke and you say woke. But like, yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. We're getting pulled back into it. I have to go. Okay.
That's just what I wanted to end it on right there.
Okay.
So we can next week.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we'll talk about more next week. All right, dude.
Everyone listening, we'll try to stay on topic. The subject matter. Tune in. Be there. And just to let you know, no one here's an extremist.
Yeah, we're both. It sounds like we're both decently moderate. Yeah, when it comes to shit. So yeah, yeah. And yeah, also thank you guys for watching. Any of you that are still in here, yeah, I appreciate the fuck out of it. And I should be doing something like this tomorrow around the same time. So yeah, check me out then too. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I think that's it. All right. Well, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice meeting you, guy. Dude, I called you guy for some reason. Fuck. It's nice meeting you. Talk to you later.
Yeah, see you clearly. I can call you that, right?
If you want, sure, that works.
All right. I'll keep you I'll add you to my friends on my followers list on Discord.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, that's an easier way to contact each other rather than the fucking comment section. So.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, dude, Yeah, have fun. See you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.